So what time did you say it was going to... Because now this clock's really fast. Yeah, so that's right. Because it'll be on 6:58. But they're managing the movement. Then the junior presentation. Then they're going to do the puck draw. Okay. So we'll go on when it says 9 minutes. Okay. One steakhouse and burger bar at the Western is down below. All you have to do is say the equivalent to one steakhouse and burger bar within 5 days. You can score 5 free wings. You can get $5 purchase. That's right. One steakhouse and burger bar. You're down below. So, yeah, you say Canada join area, you want to constantly spend in the Canada term again. It's a non-standing facility. So, we're committed to providing guests the safety and most secure environment. Accident and re-entry the building is not coordinated and activity events. You will have another table by the president, John Burns, and taking pictures of any of the actions. Hopefully, we can learn that anyone knowing objects of the events are so very vulnerable at these events.
That one forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks side, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin!
Very cool. Guelph Storm, right now just trying to adjust some technical issues. As earlier today, we did the
deadline, so I got to adjust a few things, and hopefully that'll fix it. As we are ready to go here, Sleeman Centre. I'm Mike Poirier, joined alongside Josh McCann. We're getting ready for a game after the OHL Trade Deadline, which saw many players change places, including 3 that are now members of the Barrie Colts. You've got Parker Von Richter, Mason Zabeski from the Brampton Steelheads, and Wilmot coming over from the London Knights, and all set to make their debut here with the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, it's a week of threes for the Barrie Colts, a 3-3 here tonight with 3 new players in the lineup and 3 returning players from the juniors. And it all started earlier this week, grabbing Parker Von Richter and Mason Zabeski. A couple nice additions by the Barrie Colts. Von Richter's a guy, he's going to log a ton of minutes. You look at Kayshawn Aitchison last year in the postseason, him and Tristan Bertucci were playing 30 minutes a night. Now, you got to wonder, is Evan Passmore a guy capable of that? Well, he may not have to do that anymore. Parker Von Richter can definitely take on those minutes. For Mason Zaveski, he's kind of like Calvin Crombie, where he's going to get into the corners and get very gritty, and he's just going to be a guy that I think Barrie Colts fans are really going to like. As for Ben Wilmot, a guy in his first year in the OHL and doing a pretty solid job for that London Knights team. Saw a couple Knights fans pretty disappointed to let him go. And I think the biggest thing about this for Barrie Colts, they only really moved on from players. None of the prospects, Sementsov, Emerton, Hanser, any of those guys were moved in any of the deals.
Yeah, and it's really strange seeing the London Knights in sell mode, something we haven't seen in a few years, but this is going to be now the push to the 2026 OHL playoffs. I know there's been a lot of people surprised by one of the moves that happened earlier today as Sudbury trading Kieran Walton to the Peterborough Petes. So that goes to show that the Eastern Conference, they don't want to just hand it over to the Brantford Bulldogs. There's teams like Barrie, Peterborough, and the Ottawa 67s who want to make a challenge of it.
Well, it's the new reality of the OHL where you just don't know who's going to be back next season with all the new rules with the AHL and the NCAA. So I think if you feel you have a shot this year, you might as well go for it because, yeah, maybe you think you have a shot next season, but you truly don't know what's going to happen. Adam Novotny is the big guy there in Peterborough right now, but he could be a guy that's in the AHL next season. All of a sudden, Peterborough doesn't have much of a chance next season. I didn't think they gave up too much for Kieran Walt. Sudbury may have overplayed their hands there, but yeah, it's looking like a four-way race right now in the Eastern Conference.
And we'll talk more about the OHL trade deadline coming up in the first and second intermissions, but focusing on this one, it's the start of a 3-3 for the Barrie Colts here in Guelph tonight before hosting Brampton tomorrow and then off to Oshawa Sunday evening. So it's you're going to have 6 new faces practically in the lineup here for the Barrie Colts because you're also getting the likes of Cole Broadland, Kayshawn Aitchison, and Emil Hemming back in the lineup. And now this is going to be the crew that's going to take this Colts team to the postseason.
Yeah, this is the core now for the Barrie Colts, and it looks pretty solid. I know we talked about it on the last Rogers broadcast when we were doing that community news hit that maybe some people didn't see, but if we both believe if the Barrie Colts can play up to the potential that they're at, we're in for a very long postseason. They got a shot to contend with Ottawa and Brantford. And for Cole Beaudoin, Emil Hemming, and Kayshawn Aitchison, all of them wanted gold at the World Juniors. Unfortunately, none of them were able to be a part of the gold medal winning team. Hemming went home in the semifinals as well as Beaudoin and Aitchison, and then it was Beaudoin and Aitchison winning the bronze medal. So I'm sure all three of those guys even more motivated now to bring home an OHL championship.
So we'll see what's in store here tonight. As this is the Guelph Storm team, of course, that they're going to host the 2027 Memorial Cup next year. So when they were making moves at the deadline, it was the thought process. They still want to be competitive in the playoffs, but their ultimate goal is next year. They want to be the best team in the OHL as the host. They want to go in through the front door. But George Burnett doing some great moves. My particular favorite, Tyler Hopkins, coming over from the Kingston Frontenacs. That's a piece for now and for the future.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That was probably one of the better moves of the OHL trade deadline. Hopkins, a guy, he struggled a little bit this season with Kingston, but there's a lot of potential there for the Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick. And for the Guelph Storm, it's going to be an interesting stretch run to the playoffs. And I know they're maybe not as talented as some of the other teams in the Western Conference right now, but there's a lot to prove for every single player on this Guelph Storm roster because the ultimate end goal is winning a Memorial Cup. And for all these Guelph players, they want to prove to management that they are one of the guys that can help the Memorial Cup team next season.
So it's the official start of the second half now that the postseason has come to, or the trade deadline has come to an end. And now it's going to be that push to for final playoff positioning in both conferences. And they're doing all these special effects here at the Sleeman Centre, and it's messing with the webcam. But
where'd you go?
I'm still here. They've got like the fog machines going crazy here. You know, they really lean into that Storm name here at the Sleeman Centre.
It's quite there's lightning right now on the walls. Oh my.
Yeah, so you kind of see it there on the webcam what we're going through. But in the meantime, we were able to catch up with Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz, which with the Coach's Corner presented by Mariposa School of Skating, and we'll catch up there with that conversation now.
Joined by Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. The trade deadline has come and gone, so we have some new faces to get to know here with the Barrie Colts. Plus, you're getting 3 from the World Juniors. 6 new guys in the lineup. It kind of feels like a new team.
It really does. You forget with how long the World Junior break is, with their training camp beforehand, and all the time they spend away. To put these guys back in the lineup, it's like 3 freebies, and then with the 3 new players that we've acquired, it's a lot of changes for us tonight. But again, I think it's an exciting time around the league, and guys are starting to gel, and teams are going to really come together here. But credit to our group. I mean, even without the 3 World Junior guys and without the 3 new guys, I thought we held our own, pretty well for those 8 or 7 games, and it was a lot of fun to have the guys rally around each other to continue to keep our spot in the standings. So I couldn't be more proud of the guys.
And now you know your roster for this push towards the playoffs. How happy are you with the job that Marty was able to do, Marty Williamson, and bringing in Wilmot, Van Volsen, and Zabeski?
Yeah, Marty. Dave Belitsky says it best. He calls Marty the Wizard. So again, I was talking to Marty and Howie. They've been at this for a lot longer than I have, and they told me that only once in past years have they ever gotten every single player that they wanted, everyone on their list that they got, and that was the year when they went to the finals against Windsor Spitfires. This year, the 3 players we got were the exact 3 players we wanted. We identified them months ago, we watched them, we kept tabs on them, and for Marty to land all 3, there's a reason why he's the best GM in the league, and that's exactly it.
And now you're putting the roster together. Were you, coming up with ideas, different combinations of how this could all work, or is it still going to be a work in progress over these next few weeks?
It's always a work in progress. I mean, you just, as a coach, I think that's one of your biggest jobs is to kind of go by your feel and then not be so locked into anything. I'd hate to pigeonhole a player, and maybe a player comes here and it's a little bit better, a little bit different than you expected. So things move around. But again, just because we had a plan in place and to get the 3 players that we really wanted, we kind of had these spots open for them. I think if it was other players, maybe a plan B or a plan C, you have to do a little bit more adjusting, a little bit more wiggling. But for plan A to hit 3 times in a row, we're pretty happy with what we have.
And now you're preparing for the Guelph Storm here tonight, and a start of a 3-3. Obviously, the Storm in a different position in the Western Conference. But what are you expecting here tonight?
Well, it's always a tough place to play. Guelph, they got a passionate fan group, and it's a team that they're assembling to make a Men Cup run for next year. So maybe they might be a little bit younger than our team tonight, but they've done a good job of identifying winners as well. They've been on a really hot streak. They got good coaching there, an NHL veteran coach. They're a tough out. So if we sleep here, we're in for a long night.
So that was Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. I promise you, we are here. They just have all the lights out. I didn't bring out the spotlight. Maybe I'll have to do that for the first intermission, but I did like the one line that Dylan brought up. Talking about the trade deadline. First of all, he called Marty Williamson a wizard. And then second, saying that this is the first time that the Barrie Colts able to go out and get all the players that they targeted at the OHL trade deadline since their run to the OHL final back in 2010 when they lost to the Windsor Spitfires. So that says a lot about this group and just the confidence they have right now here midway through the season.
Well, it sounds like a pretty good omen if the last time it happened is when the Barrie Colts made the OHL final. And yeah, I mean, the Barrie Colts, they added 3 quality players this week, and credit to Marty Williamson and the team as well this season. I mean, last year, the Barrie Colts, they said it's a 2-year window. Last year, this year, we're going to be good. I think there were some doubters online after all the trades they made last season saying, no, you guys aren't going to be that good next year. You gave up way too many pieces this year, but they did a great job building a good enough team to be worth buying at the trade deadline, and then doing a good job with some limited draft stock and limited amount of people available. They found a way to bring in 3 quality players.
And one big thing to point out is that the Barrie Colts didn't trade away any of their young prospects like Sementsov. I think a lot of us were kind of anticipating if the Colts make a big trade, Sementsov was probably going to be a part of it, but Marty Williamson able to just trade away picks when it came to those big trades. Obviously, Sam Black, he was sent off to Brampton, and then Bodie Stewart to Saginaw, but you kept a player like Sementsov.
Yeah, obviously, unfortunately for Bodie Stewart and Sam Black, just part of the business, and those are 2 guys that are going to get bigger roles now. Sam Black getting some more playing time in Brampton. Bodie Stewart was on the top line as well last night. So for those guys, obviously difficult to get traded, but they're going to get a really good opportunity in other places.
So right now they're doing a ceremony honoring those who took part in the World Juniors. So all 3 Barrie Colts, so Cole Bodwin and Keishon Aitchison for Team Canada, and then Emil Hemming for Team Finland. So a nice touch here by the Guelph Storm organization. No members of the Storm, of course, went off to the World Juniors, but still, the away team. I think this is a classy move.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice touch. I mean, when you're honoring people for the World Juniors, it's often because you have people, and then on the side you say, "Oh, by the way, the road team also had these guys." But a very nice touch by the Guelph Storm organization there.
And they will be doing a moment of silence here in a few minutes as they're going to be recognizing David Branch, who passed away earlier this week. Quite the shock, as David Branch only retired back in 2024. So it's the second year that the OHL's existence that Branch wasn't the commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League. So obviously there's going to be ceremonies held across the Ontario Hockey League, but he just meant so much to the OHL. And, I think he deserves the recognition that teams are giving him.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously a very sad thing to see. And for David Branch, I mean, he built the OHL from the ground up. He took some big risks and he made it work. And I think you always have to give credit to a commissioner because that's one of the hardest jobs out there. Because it doesn't matter what you do, people are going to hate on you for it. So to be a commissioner, you gotta have some guts and you got to be able to take some criticism. He did a great job of that.
Yeah, so we don't want to talk through the moment of silence, so we're going to take a break. But when we return, we'll have puck drop for the first period between the Barrie Colts and the Guelph Storm. So we are just about ready to go for the first period of play between the Storm and the Barrie Colts. And while we have a moment, we're going to take a look at our starting goaltenders, which is presented by Crankers Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
Well, first for the Barrie Colts, Ben Horebic making his 27th appearance of the year. Horebic 14-7, 3-2 on the year with a .929 save percentage and a .270 goals against average. He was very busy in his last game, stopping 52 of 57 in an overtime loss to Niagara. For the Guelph Storm, it's Colin Ellsworth getting the start. Ellsworth coming into today 2-6-1-0 with an 8.64 save percentage and a 449 goals against average. Ellsworth's last game came on January 2nd against the Bulldogs. He stopped 7 of 8 and had a no decision in 40 minutes of relief in a Storm win over the Bulldogs.
Our referees tonight, Sean Reed and Hayden Verbeek, and on the line, Steven Driscoll and Antoine Bougeau-Roux, as we are just about ready to go here from the Sleeman Centre. Colts visiting the Guelph Storm. It's post-trade deadline and post-World Junior Hockey Championship. So everyone back in the lineup tonight for the Barrie Colts as Mason Zabeski making his Colts debut. He's on the left side. Well, Brad Gardner will take the draw and Crombie on his right, and we are underway. Face-off won by the Colts. They're going to move this one ahead quickly at center. That's Crombie dumping it in. Ends up behind the Guelph net. Ellsworth is there to play it. Knocked out of the air by Crombie. Crombie's going to send this one back, but it's taken away by Miedema, and that's cleared out to center. Colts pick it up. Zabeski's going to dump this one in. Ellsworth behind his own net to play it. He's going to send this one around. Knocked down there by Crombie. Colts turn it over to Zabeski in front, deflected, and Ellsworth had to make a quick save as this line putting on quite a bit of pressure as Zabeski took that puck away from Ellsworth.
Yeah, great look there for the Barrie Colts overage line. Nice play by Zabeski, and then they're able to get it out in front for Calvin Crombie for a good opportunity there. It's a pretty big weekend for the Barrie Colts, looking at the opponents, Guelph, Brampton, and Oshawa, all near the bottom of the standings. Obviously, you can't take any team in the OHL lightly, but a big opportunity to get some points this weekend, gain more ground on the Ice Dogs and North Bay, and maybe get closer to the Brantford Bulldogs and the Ottawa 67s.
So Jesse Wilmot making his debut for the Barrie Colts. He's out there on the wing as Cole Baudouin takes the draw. Face-off won by the Colts. Back at the point, that's Passmore. Ends up behind the Guelph net. After it is Baudouin, he's going to send it around. Emil Hemming there to pick it up. Back to the point. Passmore keeps it behind the Guelph net. Baudouin can't get a stick on it. Aitchison comes off point towards the net. Baudouin, but that's knocked off his stick. And the Storm will get it out. That's Tyler Hopkins, the former Kingston Frontenac. Hopkins sends that one to the corner. McFadden there to collect it now for the Storm. Drops it back to Hopkins. At the blue line, that's Singh. They'll send that one across. Storm moving it back and forth. Sting ahead. Hopkins back to the point. There's the shot from the blue line. That's blocked. And that's going to be deflected out of play as taking that shot was Grant Spada.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Ben Wilmot looks on this line with Baudouin and Emil Hemming. The Barrie Colts had a couple players working with them. It was Joe Salandra at the start. Then it was William Schneid who did a pretty good job there. But now both of them down here now on the ice right now, actually on the third line.
So Dylan Smoskowitz able to roll through the lines early on in this hockey game. The faceoff will come to the right of Ben Harebic. Schneid's going to take the draw up against Jaco Wysick. Wysick, the rookie forward for the Guelph Storm, having a pretty solid season so far. Faceoff ends up in the corner. Wysick comes up with it, trying to come around the net. He's tied up. Delayed penalty call coming. And it's going to be a hold. So it looks as though the Guelph Storm, they're going to get their first power play of the night.
Cole Emerson going to the box. Pretty easy one there for the officials. Emerson was holding them all around the net there as Wysick tried to get a backhander off. And Jaco Wysick, like you mentioned, one of the bigger pieces of this team coming in to today. Wysick, 9 goals, 14 assists for 23 points in 31 games. A lot of potential next year. Probably going to be a big season for him. And maybe one of the reasons the Guelph Storm got the Memorial Cup is the certainty of Wysick compared to the issues Kitchener was having with a couple of their guys.
So the Guelph Storm on the power play. It's 15th right now in the OHL as they quickly moved around towards the net. Wysick in front, but not able to get there in time was Hoponenko. Puck's going to go behind the net. McKenzie sends this one back to the blue line as the Storm trying to move this one around. The Colts penalty kill has been improving. It's now in rank number 9 as Baudouin's got a shorthanded breakaway. Cole Baudouin shot, scores! Cole Baudouin! He takes the puck from his own blue line, skates down on his own, and just like that, it's 1-0.
Well, welcome back to the OHL. The Barrie Colts, 3 World Juniors players all out on the ice for the opening goal here. Baudouin with the takeaway at the blue line. And his home free back the other way, goes blocker side on Ellsworth. And like I mentioned when talking about the starting goalies, Paul Ellsworth has an .864 save percentage this season. Definitely a guy you can take advantage of if the Barrie Colts want to get the offense going here tonight.
So a shorthanded marker for Cole Baudouin. That's now 15 goals on the season. What a start to this one. Colts get it again. They're sending it down, but that ends up on the Storm bench. A minute and a half still remaining here on this Storm power play.
Oh, good start against Guelph. Definitely needed for the Barrie Colts. Coming into today, obviously, Guelph Storm you don't think of as one of the top teams in the league. Guelph Storm are second in the OHL in first period goals.
Well, this Guelph Storm team, yeah, they sold off a few players, but this is a team that's still kind of in that mix in the middle of the pack for the Western Conference. They're not a team that sold off. They still added Hopkins. But no, right now, the Barrie Colts, they're buzzing to start this hockey game as that's going to be sent down the length of the ice. Singh back to collect it now for Guelph. 1:18 remaining on the penalty to Cole Emerton. Puck comes to the near side. Gallagher, he'll hit the brakes inside the line, sends that one across. It's into an open wing. Miedema keeps it in here for the Storm along the boards. Gardner, though, takes that one away. It's in his skates. Storm recover. Near side, that's Singh. Singh towards the net. Miedema in front, trying to tuck it around, but Ben Horevic says no, as he's able to get a glove on it.
Nice look there for Miedema, who's one of the more interesting Guelph Storm players out on the ice tonight. Talking about Guelph, ever since they won the Memorial Cup, you figured, okay, Luchenko's gone, Paquette's gone, Miedema's gone. Well, Luchenko and Paquette, they were traded off to Brantford, but Miedema never sent out.
And we saw Miedema last year at the Kingston Frontenacs. He's one of those tough veteran players, and I think it makes sense to keep a guy like him, especially when you've got a younger crew. Face-off won by the Storm. Hopkins will send this one down behind the Barrie net. Gallagher comes up with it, the former Brantford Bulldog. Gallagher gets it again on the far side. Gallagher will send it back to the blue line. Singh kind of bobbled that pass, still reaches Hopkins. Here's Serlin. Leo Serlin towards the net. He'll hold on, goes around the Colts net. His pass is deflected. Gallagher to Singh. Singh over to Hopkins. One-timer, and that's stopped by Horevic as Tyler Hopkins. What a blast there from the face-off dot.
A good look from Tyler Hopkins there. It's funny when the Frontenacs were in town and he was still on Kingston. I talked to him in first intermission and I asked him about being drafted by the Leafs and that number 91. It's going to be pretty hard to get that number. And he admitted he's ready to give that up if it means an opportunity to play with John Tavares.
Oh, for sure. And Hopkins fitting in well here already with this Guelph Storm team as they're moving it around. Power play continues for another 20 seconds. Storm moving it around at the blue line. That's Beauchene. He'll pass that one up. Sabinski shot scores on the pass play. What a snipe there from Ilya Shabinski. And the Guelph Storm have tied it at 1.
A good look there for Shabinski. He was given some room to work from the Barrie Colts defenders. Hassmore obviously wanting to stay down low. The Colts, maybe a miscommunication there. Didn't have really anyone attacking. Beauchene sends it across, and Shabinski got caught up in between there as McFadden kind of blocked him off, gave Shabinski an open lane. This game's tied at 1.
Well, that's been an issue this season, is giving up too many power plays. And right now, the Guelph Storm, a perfect 1-for-1 on the man advantage. They did give up a shorthanded goal. That's why we're tied at 1, as it's back to 5-on-5 hockey. Puck ends up behind the Barrie Colts net. Bodwin there to scoop that one ahead. Doesn't go too far. Collecting it is Frossard. He can't hold it as Hemming moves it up. Here's Cole Bodwin. He's going to skate it out for the Colts. Backhand pass to Emerton. Cole Emerton skates into the attacking zone, passes it across. Chasing after it is Hemming. Hemming trying to dig that one free. Getting a stick on it instead is Frossard. Frossard battling along the boards. Cole Bodwin is there. He can't move it as that's blocked again by Hemming. Bodwin behind the Guelph net trying to settle it down. Puck sent in front. Stolen there by Wilmot. He'll keep it down low. That pass to the line, but it's taken away by Snellgrove, and the Storm get it out. Well, for leaving some pressure there, they send it down the ice. It won't be icing, so both teams can make a line change, as we've now reached the 4-minute mark of the first period, already 1-1. Jaden Newton sends this one deep. Beauchene back to play it. Fans on it. Collecting it there is Jonah McCormick at the blue line. There's the shot from Von Richter, and that's stopped there by the Guelph goaltender, Ellsworth. Puck's in the corner. Jaden Newton trying to dig this one free. The Storm pick it up. They'll send this one to the line and out. Skating through center ice. Hopkins dumps this one in. Ends up deep in the Barrie zone. There's Parker Von Richter with a hit on Hopkins. Play continues. Von Richter throwing the weight around as he delivered a check there on Gallagher. Colts now get it out. Jaden Newton reaches center ice. He's going to flip this down the ice. Icing indicated, and And it's going to be an icing call now against the Barrie Colts, but not a bad first shift there for Parker Von Richter.
I wonder why you're talking about him. You're a big fan of the name, I'm told.
That is probably my favorite name in the OHL even before he was traded here to Barrie with the Brampton Steelheads. That was my favorite.
Well, for him and Zabeski, I mean, two guys that are proven in the OHL. They were core pieces in Brampton for a couple of years, so gotta feel pretty comfortable for Dylan Smoskowitz able to bring those guys in and trust them right away. Already seeing Zabeski and Von Richter out there on the power play, or on the penalty kill, sorry. Then, of course, for Ben Wilmot, it's, junior hockey, players come and go, so it's always interesting when guys get new numbers, and we have a new 53 in town.
Yeah, that'll take a little bit to get used to. Of course, Bo Jelsma, the last player to wear number 53, as Leo Serlin takes the shots, and Harevic able to make the glove save, as now the Barrie Colts, they can make a line change.
For Wilmot, guy that played in Sioux Falls, not this year, but last season. Then, of course, coming over to the London Knights, his last two jersey numbers, 53 and 29, which are pretty important numbers over the last couple of years in the Barrie Colts organization.
Well, if it was last year, he wouldn't be able to have that number 53. Face off to the right of Ben Harevic. Gardner's going to take the draw. Snellgrove tossed out, so in steps Hunter McKenzie. He'll drop the puck. Face off one there by the Colts. Aitchison behind his own net. Sends it up to Zabeski. Zabeski sends it forward, but it's taken away by McKenzie. Puck goes back down low. Keyshawn Aitchison, he's tied up in the corner. Colts trying to move this one around. Here's Calvin Crombie. Crombie puts that one off the board. Zabeski trying to get a stick on it. He's denied. Puck rolls to the nets, and Ellsworth not wanting to take any chances there. He had Gardner right on his doorstep.
Well, tonight is the 2000th home game, or game total for the Barrie Colts in their time in the OHL. And, of course, the 1000th home game was a couple weeks ago against the London Knights. And, in fact, found this out, credit to OHL history on X. The first ever game for the Barrie Colts was against the Guelph Storm. They lost that game 8-3, so hopefully the score isn't that bad tonight.
Next, that would have been, yes, last year was the 30th anniversary, so, man, that's going back. I love the history and the stats. That's fantastic. So that's going to be an icing call now against the Guelph Storm, and they'll bring this one back. But, yeah, credit there to OHL history.
Yeah, they do a great job as well. The OHL is a league. They've always got these on these days from, past years. And, of course, this week being the trade deadline, like basically all week, there were all these old trades. I saw on this day today, Anthony Cirelli was traded. A couple days ago on this day, it was Mackenzie Enwhistle that got traded. I thought that was a pretty interesting name, a nice blast from the past.
It's always fun when you get those names you haven't heard in a while. As the Storm win the faceoff and quickly send it down ice. No icing. Passmore is going to play it. Gives that up to Keyshawn Aitchison. Aitchison, he's just going to take this back behind his own net, taking his time as both teams complete changes. Aitchison moving this one forward. Goes to Evan Passmore. Up the wing. Zabeski got a stick on it. That stays in play. Ellsworth behind his net to play it. Sends it around. Crombie couldn't get a stick on it. Wysick picks it up along the board. Sends this one back to Beauchesne. Beauchesne takes a hit from Gardner. Storm with it. They're going to move this one up the middle. Carrying this one ahead is Hopanenko. Hopanenko takes the shot. That's going to go wide. Near side kept in by Beauchesne. Puck goes behind the Colts net. After it is Gardner. Gardner takes a bump there from Soares. Taken there by Eliason. Here's Mason Zabeski. Flips this one up the ice. Alley-oop pass as the Colts are going to be able to make a line change. Picked up here by the Storm. Deep in his own zone. That's Patrick Babin. Another former Brantford Bulldog. Is the Storm and the Bulldogs made a couple of big moves during the season. Of course, Jet Luchenko and also Charlie Paquette both going off to the Brantford Bulldogs. As the Storm moving up, that's going to be dropped back. On the far side, Hopkins takes the shot. Rebick the save. Puck goes to the corner. Hopkins gets it again. He'll send this one around. After that loose puck is Gallagher. Gallagher along the boards, trying to hold on to it. Goes back to the point, but Top can't keep it in. That puck's going to sail all the way back into the Guelph zone. Ellsworth is there to play it. That's sent ahead. Storm with possession. Carrying it up is McFadden. Up ahead, Gallagher. Gallagher, though, has that poked off his stick by Aitchison. Battle along the boards. Here's Evan Passmore. Passmore, though, can't hold on to it. Colts take it back. Skating it up, that's Joe Salandra. Salandra sends it into the Guelph zone where it's collected by Top. Top will send this one around. Hopkins deep in his own zone to play it. 12:38 still to go in the first period. We are tied at 1 apiece. Cole Beaudoin opened the scoring shorthanded. And then tying it up with a power play marker was Ilya Shabinski. Puck sails back into the Guelph zone. Storm with it, but taking it away, there's Wilmot. Wilmot battling along the boards. Beaudoin trying to get to that loose puck. Shielding it there was Patrick Babin. Babin gets it here for the Storm. Sends it ahead. Serlin. He's tied up by Aitchison. Beaudoin's there. Can't get a stick on it. Kept in by Hemming. Takes the shot. And Ellsworth, he'll casually get a glove on that as he'll hold on. 12:05 left to go in the first period. As we've seen a little bit from the three new faces showing their physical side, and I think that's exactly what the Colts want. They want to be that team that's hard to play against, and we've heard that a lot from Dylan Smoskos.
Yeah, obviously, and I think in the first place, Barrie Colts were already a pretty tough team to play against. Obviously, you look on the back end, Aitchison, Eliasson, Passmore, those are some pretty big boys, and then you're going to add Parker Von Richter as well, and those guys all willing to lay the body. Of course, Mason Zabeski, and then you look at the fourth line, Newton and McCormick. I'm sure they'll get an opportunity with Luke Govero sooner or later. The mutant line will probably be back, and then Calvin Crombie and Joe Salandra. You look at them, you don't think they're going to be too dangerous, but Crombie and Salandra, they love to lay a tin or two.
So the three new faces have made an appearance, and they've been involved on the play so far. Right now, Von Richter out there at the point with Justin Hanser as they get ready for this face-off to the right of Ellsworth. Wilmot also out there as he's sitting on the top line. Wilmot, Beaudoin, and Hemming as we get ready for this face-off. Right now, the Guelph Storm out shooting the Barrie Colts 5-3. Right now, we're just waiting for the snow clearing on the far side, and then we can get play back underway. But an entertaining game so far to start this 3-3 for the Barrie Colts. Their one and only trip to the Royal City. Face off. One there by the Storm. Ends up behind their own net. Spada is going to send this one around. Miedema can't get it out of the zone. Kept in by Beaudoin. And he fires that on goal. And Ellsworth just holding on to it. Much traffic there on that chance.
Not really anyone there at all. Beaudoin just spins and shoots. And Ellsworth able to make an easy save on that one. And the Guelph Storm obviously riding high right now on a 3-game win streak, and they were playing some pretty quality teams during that stretch. It started against the Brantford Bulldogs, and then a win over Peterborough before following that up with a 2-1 victory over the Old Sound Attack in their last game.
Yeah, and the Storm, they play the Peterborough Petes tomorrow at the PMC, the new look Petes after that big trade today for Kieran Walton. As that's going to go down the ice. Icing is waved off. McKenzie there after it. Von Richter delivers the hit. Picked up there by Hemming. Emil Hemming behind his own net, trying to play it around, end up in the skates of McKenzie. Colts come up with it. Justin Hanser. He'll pass this one forward. Here's Cole Beaudoin through the neutral zone. Beaudoin skates it in for the Colts on the wing. Trying to get around the defense. Puts it in front. That's taken away by Snellgrove. Loose puck. Wilmot comes up with it. That's knocked off his stick. Beauchene gets the line. Kept in by Hanser. Beauchene's going to follow it up, and the Storm will get this one down the ice. Gabriel Eliasson there to collect it here for the Barrie Colts as he's chased from behind the net. Gives this one up to Hanser. Long stretch pass. McCormick couldn't get a stick on it. Goes back to the Storm blue line. Eric Frassard goes to the near side. Storm get this one through center ice. Panenko can't get a stick on it. Cole Emerton will find it here for the Barrie Colts. Deep in his own zone. Sending this one forward. Desiderio trying to get it out of the zone. Kept in there by Wysick. Battle ensues. Newton up to Desiderio. He'll get it out. Babin sends this one back across. Beauchene dumps this one in for the Storm. Wysick after it. Takes a hit from Eliasson. Puck ends up behind the Barrie net. Colts move this one ahead. Here's Jonah McCormick. McCormick has it along the boards. Fans want a penalty. There was a battle between Suarez and Newton. Play continues. Colts able to get this one out to center. Right on the stick of Babin. He's going to send this one back. Beauchene inside his own blue line. Goes to Babin on the near side. Those two work the give and go as we're approaching the midway point of the first period. Still tied at 1. Skating this one forward is McFadden. Will McFadden trying to get around Elias, and he's knocked over. Collision there into the corner. Play continues. Colts will get it out. Here's Calvin Crombie through center. Crombie has that one poked off his stick. Good work there by Top. Storm get it out. Gallagher passing it across. Picked up there by Frassard. Frassard takes the shots, and Horebic with the glove saved, and he's able to hold on to it with 9:52 left here in the first.
Good start to this game for Guelph, out shooting Barrie right now, 6-4. You mentioned that matchup with Peterborough tomorrow, and I know we were talking about on the way down about kind of disappointed because Barrie and Peterborough only play twice a season, and be interesting to see how they look with Kieran Walton, Adam Novotny, Caden McGregor, and of course for the Barrie Colts right now, second, Peterborough fourth. So if that stays the same, they need whoever the 3 seed is to get upset round one.
Yeah, that's where it would be nice to have the balanced schedule to see all your teams in the same conference evenly. As that puck's on net, picked up by Crombie, guard for shot, Ellsworth the save, puck still loose, picked up. Here's Aitchison, shot, scores. Kayshawn Aitchison, welcome back to Barrie, and it's now 2-1 for the Colts.
Mason Zabeski, the new Barrie Colt, played a bit of a role there in that goal, kind of setting a screen out in front. He got taken out by Top. The two of them went down the ground, and as he was trying to get the rebound loose, and Gardner able to grab it from Zabeski, puts it out to the middle for Kayshawn Aitchison, who's left wide open and able to put that one home. Aitchison is away for a couple weeks, but he's still got a big lead when it comes to goals by OHL defensemen.
That's now 20 goals on the season, and both members of Team Canada getting on the scoreboard here tonight for the Barrie Colts. Bodwin opened the scoring shorthanded, and now Kayshawn Aitchison even strength. Aitchison's still out there. He's there picking in front of his own net. Up ahead to Passmore. Schneid up to Low. He's going to dump it in. That rolls towards the net. Ellsworth decides to cover it up. As Barrie Colts attacking in waves right now. We get a bit of a scrum after the whistle, but this Barrie Colts team, you can really tell that they've got a little boost in their step here tonight compared to what we saw even a week ago.
Well, I mean, when you consider the 3 guys coming back from the World Juniors as well, 6 new faces in the lineup. That's got to be exciting for everyone. And I'm sure Bodwin and Aitchison and Hemming all disappointed from the World Junior end result, but still getting back to Barrie, I'm sure they were highly motivated to get on the board early. Talking about Aitchison, him and Chase Reed, 19 goals for Aitchison, now 20. Chase Reed at 15. They were first and second going into heading off to the World Juniors, and they were able to keep that mark.
Puck taken away there. Salandra stopped by Ellsworth. He was set up there by Carter Lowe. Salandra comes back to the point to keep it in, but that's taken away by the Storm. They'll get this one out and down the ice. Here's Salandra in his own zone. He'll drop this one back to Vaughn Richter. Hands are on the near side. He'll move this one up. That pass deflected. Shavinsky got a stick on it. Spada able to collect it now for the Storm. Over to Singh. Singh facing pressure there from Schneid. Colts trying to recover. Puck goes through the neutral zone, sent deep into the Barrie zone. Justin Hanser there to pick it up for the Colts. He'll go over to Parker Vaughn Richter. Here's Schneid. We'll pass this one up the wing. Salandra tried to get a stick on it, but that's going to be an icing call. And they'll bring this one back with 8.5 minutes remaining now in the first period.
Well, it's interesting, obviously. I mean, you look at this Barrie Colts team on top of the guys they've added and the top of the guys coming back. There's a lot of guys in the bottom 6 that have some potential to do something. You know, Joe Salandra, Eamon Egger on line tonight. Yeah, there's Alexander Sementsov, but those are some young guys that could maybe start taking steps forward as well. We've seen Nicholas Desiderio, Jonah McCormick getting goals recently. Those are some guys that if you get some internal improvement here in Barrie, they become even deeper than many realize.
Yeah, the bottom 6 is going to be so important as that puck's going to go out of play off the draw. And that's why it was a big test. When the 3 were off at the World Juniors, that was the time for them to showcase what they're capable of. And they did really well there on that the second half, the road when they were down in Kitchener.
Well, yeah, I mean, Morebic and Jaswell had to steal a couple games. I think we all expected that, but that game in Kitchener, the depth looked pretty good. They looked pretty good as well against Niagara in the offensive zone. They just kept giving up shots. And talking to Grayson Tiller first intermission, I said to him, almost jokingly, 20 shots here this first period, Grayson. If you guys keep up this pace, you're going to be okay. Well, can they keep up the pace and they win the game?
Well, there's a shot blocked by Calvin Crombie. He's going to go off to the races, going around Beauchesne. That's poked away by Beauchesne. What a great defensive play there. Quinn Beauchesne, but the Storm can't get it out of the zone. Puck's just sitting there at the line, kept in by Gardner. Up to Zabeski. Zabeski in a stick battle. That's now knocked out to center ice. Cole Emerton from his own blue line passes this one over to Eliasson. Eliasson in front of his own net. Up to Emerton. He'll send it along the wing at center ice. Collected there by Brad Gardner. Gardner gets it in the zone, sends this one around the boards. O'Shane can't get a stick on it. Kept in by Emerton. Emerton takes the shot, deflected, and Ellsworth holds on as Calvin Crombie got a piece of that right in front of Ellsworth, but the Storm goaltender able to make the save.
Couple good looks there for Crombie. First, a nice deflection off the shot from Emerton, but before that, a breakaway opportunity, a nice block on Beauchene's shot from the point. The Barrie Colts doing a good job getting in front of those pucks out front. That set up Beaudoin for the opening goal of the game, and then Crombie again there.
So we'll get the face-off now to the left of Colin Ellsworth. Colts come up with it. Here's Wilmot. Sends it back to the line. Passmore shots, and that goes right into the glove of Ellsworth. You get the sense that Ellsworth not wanting to take any chances whenever that puck comes into his blue paint.
Ellsworth, a guy who's had a tough season, but he's had a couple decent games as of late. 7 of 8 against Brantford over 40 minutes. Wasn't tested much. The game before that, 45 of 51. Always tough when you're facing that many shots.
There's a Aitchison to the nets, and he'll find the back of the cage. Right off the draw, Kayshawn Aitchison carries it to the net. And it's now 3-1. Do you think Kayshawn Aitchison's excited to be back?
I think so. It was nice of him to wait till like 2 seconds after I finished my point. He let me get it all out before finally getting it into the back of the net. Aitchison off the face-off there. Gets loose down low, gets it out front, and is able to go blocker side again on Colin Ellsworth. That's very cool. To clearly found a weak spot on the Guelph Storm netminder.
Well, there was a little confusion on the ice. I don't think anyone realized that the puck had actually gone in.
Playing the puck again.
Exactly. But it is, in fact, a goal. 3-1 now for the Barrie Colts. Kayshawn Aitchison now 2 tonight. As the Colts right now banging as Aitchison trying to throw in the hit there on Miedema. Miedema avoided it just in time. Pucks along the boards. Newton gets this one ahead. Wysick keeps this one in. Desiderio trying to dig this one out. Top is there now. Right to Aitchison, but he's going to flip this one out down the ice. At center, Brassard turns this one around. Hrebeck out of his net to play it. Gives this one up to Kayshawn Aitchison. Already 2 goals tonight. We'll keep an eye on Aitchison as we've still got plenty of time left. Remember, up in Sudbury, he scored that hat trick in the first period. We'll see what is in store here. Aitchison, though, he's going to go off for a line change as he gave that puck up to Justin Hanser. Hanser, he's going to take his time as the Colts complete a line change. Hanser up to Von Richter. Near side, Carter Lowe. Had an issue with that pass. Still able to get it forward. Schneid can't get a stick on it. Battle in front of the timekeeper's bench. Schneid trying to dig this one free. Battle ensues. We still got 6:18 left to go in this first period. 3-1 Barrie. 2 of those goals coming from Kayshawn Aitchison. 1 from Cole Beaudoin. As the Colts get this one into the Guelph zone. Brassard back to pick it up now for the Storm. McKenzie trying to get it out. Von Richter keeps it in. Good work there from the new defenseman. Puck goes deep. Top sends it ahead. Snellgrove tips it down the ice. Parker Von Richter back to collect it here for the Colts. Gives this over to Carter Lowe. Lowe back to Von Richter. He's going to take it back behind his own net. Parker Von Richter was he's going to be our first intermission guest as Josh McCann was able to catch up with the new member of the Barrie Colts as that's going to go down the ice. Icing is waved off. That kind of threw off Singh. Storm, though, able to pick this one up. They're going to move it forward. Here's Jaco Wysick. Wysick carries this one in. Sends it towards the net. Papanenko trying to get a stick on it. Puck's in the corner. Serlin sends it back to the line for Singh. Singh takes their shot. Stop. Hrebeck. Puck's loose. It's kept out. Hrebeck losing his stick in the process. Zaveski trying to get this one ahead. Goes back to Gabriel Eliasson. Eliasson will send it up to Schneid, and he's just going to send it down the ice. Ellsworth thought about coming out of his net. Here's Zabeski, but no one was there in front of the net for the Barrie Colts. Papanenko will get this one out. Gardner protecting that puck. There to pick it up is Crombie from his own blue line. Calvin Crombie sends us into the Storm zone, avoids the hit. Ellsworth out of his net. He'll send it around. At the point, kept in there by Emerton. Emerton will backhand this one over the net. There's a collision. Zabeski on the forecheck. Been seeing quite a bit of that from the former Brampton Steelhead. Here comes Tyler Hopkins. Hopkins passes this one ahead to the net. Stopped by Hrebeck. He got a piece of that shot there from Lane Gallagher. Babin keeping this one down low. Puck bouncing. Winds up. Beauchene, and his shot blocked in front. Colts will pick it up. 4:24 remaining in the first. Calvin Crombie there to collect it. He's going to skate it back into his own zone. Bromby leaving it behind the net for Kayshawn Aitchison. Both teams right now making changes. Aitchison taking his time. We'll pass this one over to Cole Beaudoin. Beaudoin with a goal already tonight. Passes this one ahead to Hemming. Emil Hemming dumps this one in, trying to get around Babbitt. Ends up behind the Storm net. There's Beaudoin to push it through. In front, Wilmot had a piece of it. Kept it at the blue line. Aitchison passes it across. Deflected. Hits the post. It was rolling to the net. Jesse Wilmot nearly got a stick on it. Wysick comes up with it now for the Storm. Has this one in the corner. He's going to flip this one out to center ice. Passmore gets a stick on it, but it's taken away here by Guelph. Wysick keeps it in at the point. Wysick puts this one down low. Storm move it to the point. Here's Beauchesne. Far side shot stopped by Horevic. Storm get it again. Wysick back to top at the point. Takes the shot. That goes wide. Quinn Beauchesne on the near side. He'll send this one around. Ends up behind the Colts net. Aitchison after it as they try to relieve pressure. Wysick, though, takes it away. Wilmot's there trying to dig it free. Wysick gets it again. He's tied up. Meet him up, reaching for it. Back to Beauchesne at the point. Quinn Beauchesne passing it up to Wysick. Wysick has it at the point. Takes the shot. And Horevic makes the save as he relieves the pressure here. As the Storm trying to get back into this hockey game as they find themselves down by 2.
They almost found themselves down by 3. Aitchison trying to cross ice feed to Beaudoin. Hoping that all the Guelph players would just assume he's shooting already with 2 goals in the period, but tries to go across to Beaudoin. It's deflected down low. I think Ben Wilmot just missed getting a deflection on the puck out front, and it went wide and hit off the post. Wilmot almost getting his first as a Colt right away.
Yeah, he's got that long reach. And for Jesse Wilmot, we understand that he joined the team here in Guelph today. As I think we heard that they were doing like a Zoom meet. They were getting together.
Well, they wanted to do they did a Q&A with Zabeski and Von Richter because they've had a couple days to obviously get to Barrie. But for Wilmot, a guy that's just came over from London yesterday afternoon. So I guess they thought, you know what? Might as well just wait, join us in Guelph, and we'll do a Zoom call in the morning, and everything's good.
Oh, and we were, it's such tight confines here at the Sleeman Centre. As we were doing the pregame interviews, you see the stick rack there, and Wilmot has some big twigs.
Yeah, they're pretty big. It was tough to move around down there in this. I was trying to get to Parker Von Richter, and there's like 6 people talking to him. I don't want to. We'll just wait.
There is not a lot of room in the visiting dressing room area here in Guelph. As the Colts send this one deep, Ellsworth around the boards. That goes off Snellgrove, and the Storm will get this one out, carrying it forward to Shabinsky. Shabinsky dumps this one in. Puck goes to the corner. Colt player goes down. Play continues. Barrie Colts get this one down the ice. Snellgrove's going to come back to collect it, so no icing. Snellgrove kind of bobbled it. Desiderio gets to it. In front to Newton. Shots by Ellsworth. What a chance there as Desiderio set up Newton perfectly. But Ellsworth able to make the save. Everybody's firing on all cylinders here tonight for the Barrie Colts. Is that puck on net? And Horevic will cover it up. But what an effort there. Snellgrove just seemed to have issues there deep in his own zone.
Yeah, great look for the Colts. Desiderio gets it out front. Newton looked like he maybe tried to go 5-hole there on Ellsworth, but Guelph goalie able to make a nice save there. And big moments here right now for Guelph. Obviously, you don't want to go down by 3 goals this early in a game.
Yeah, still 2:18 to go in this first period. 3-1 for the Barrie Colts. If you're just joining us now, all 3 goals coming from Team Canada members. The first from Cole Beaudoin, and then back-to-back from Kayshawn Aitchison. And then the one goal for the Guelph Storm, Ilya Shabinsky, and that was a power play goal. That tied it at 1 at that point, but the Colts have scored 2 unanswered since. As they win the face-off, and Eliasson will set things up from behind his own net. Up to Cole Emerton. Emerton sends us forward. Gallagher got a stick on it, so no icing. Babin back to play it now for the Guelph. They'll send this one ahead. That's kept in at the blue line. Beauchesne puts that one off the boards. Blocked by Salandra. Here's Salandra. Takes a shot. Hits the post. Joe Salandra strikes iron. Gets it back at the point. Salandra with a shot. Stopped by Ellsworth. Salandra gets it again for the Colts. Back to Eliasson. Takes the shot. Deflected wide side of the net. Ellsworth will just bat that one to the corner. Carter Lowe back to Eliasson. That's blocked by McFadden. And the Storm will get it out. McFadden. He did give that one away as Schneid was sliding through the neutral zone. Salandra now on the near side, trying to dump it in. That went off Babin. Storm with possession. McFadden sends it up to Miedema. Miedema carrying this one in for the Storm. Gets by Eliasson. Miedema going around the net. He'll send it back to the blue line. There's a shot deflected over the goal. Getting a stick on it there was Jaco Wysick. Puck rolling to the net. Colts trying to get this one out. There's Leo Serlin. That's knocked off his tape. Wysick has it in the corner. Sends this one back. Kept in by Singh at the blue line. There's the shot. That's going to go wide of the net. Wysick behind the goal, trying the wraparound. Takes the shot, and Hrebeck makes the shoulder save. We're in the final minute of the first period. Colts trying to get it out of their zone. That's knocked down by Gardner. Gardner will skate this one out. He's got Zabeski with him. Sends this one deep behind the net. Crombie picks it up for the Colts. That's poked off his stick by Spada. Gardner back to Aitchison at the point. Near side to Passmore. Passmore takes the shot, and that's deflected. Aitchison off the blue line, gets the stick on it. Puck rolled on him, and now the Storm will get it out. Here's Singh through the neutral zone, 3-on-2 for the Storm. Singh to the middle. He's bumped over by Aitchison. There's the shot, and Hrebeck will cover it up as Keyshawn Aitchison had to come flying back to disrupt that chance.
Good job by Aitchison getting back there and laying the hit on Singh. It didn't really... For a 3-on-2, you thought they may have gotten a better chance there, but one lonely backhander on net, Hrebeck makes a save.
Right now, the Barrie Colts out shooting the Guelph Storm 13-12. Right now, the Storm right now making a late change as we get this face-off to the left of Ben Hrebeck. Parker Snellgrove will take the draw here against Cole Beaudoin. Well, Snellgrove now being tossed out, so in steps Hunter McKenzie. Face off one by the Storm. Shabinsky sends this one back. Spada takes the shot by Hrebeck. Puck goes to the corner. Snellgrove with possession. Puts that between the legs. There's McKenzie. McKenzie facing pressure from Beaudoin. Old Beaudoin puts it ahead to Hemming, and that'll go down the ice at the buzzer. As the Barrie Colts, what a start to this hockey game, line themselves up 3-1 here at the end of the first period.
Well, a great start for the Barrie Colts. First time they've had their full roster here in the second half of the OHL season, and they were firing on all cylinders. You know, sometimes, you look at a period with a lot of shots and you think, well, it didn't really feel like the team was creating that many chances. They're just throwing pucks in the net. With Barrie Colts, they were firing on all cylinders there. They had a ton of great opportunities. There were a couple more opportunities that could have gone in the net outside of the three that went in. You think about Salandra hitting the post, Jade Newton alone out front. Ben Wilmot had a great opportunity as well right out front. I thought all three of the new acquisitions were pretty noticeable in the first period.
Yeah, and even the physical play by Mason Zabeski and Parker Von Richter, they look like they haven't really missed a beat coming over from the Brampton Steelheads, and that's exactly what the Colts are going to need. If they're going to want to have a deep run in the playoffs, you need to play that physical style, and it's been on full display. And then also shorthanded, Cole Beaudoin gets a shorthanded breakaway, opens the scoring. He's a competitor, and that was on full display even.
Yeah, no doubt. A great play at the blue line forces the turnover. A couple Guelph Storm players there trying to break it up, but for Beaudoin, he's able to get loose, goes Walker's side on Paul and Ellsworth. Paul and Ellsworth, a great opportunity. And you mentioned about Von Richter and Zabeski not missing a beat. And like I mentioned earlier in the period, I mean, Dylan Smosbitz immediately trusting them, putting them on the penalty kill, giving them top-tier minutes. And for Marty Williamson, he seems to like these interdivision trades. But before the Wilmot trades, before the Bodie Stewart trade, Barrie Colts have made 6 straight trades inside the division.
Usually you don't want to trade within your division, but
it seemed to work out.
Well, in the pregame interview with Dylan Smoswitz, he called Marty Williamson the Wizard. So I guess his wizardry worked on that one. But pregame, you did get a chance to catch up with Parker Von Richter, one of the new members of the Barrie Colts. I've already said he's got my favorite name right now in the Ontario Hockey League. I'm glad Marty was able to bring him in. I don't think it was for that purpose, but he's going to be steady, and he seemed to be well liked there in the small hallway here at the Sleeman Centre.
Trying to talk to him, there's like 6 people there. Let's take a step back and let's wait a minute, because every single Colts player seems to want to talk to Parker Von Richter right now. And yeah, like you mentioned, I think he was brought in more for his play rather than his name. But yeah, it's always nice to have some cool names on the team, especially for the broadcasters. And Von Richter played some minor hockey alongside Carter Lowe, and I know we touch on that in this interview as well.
So here's the conversation that Josh had with Parker Von Richter pregame here at the Sleeman Centre.
Number 28. Well, joined by the newest Colts defenseman, Parker Von Richter. Parker, a couple days now with Barrie. What were your initial reactions to getting traded? Did you have any thoughts before the trade that this was a possibility?
Yeah, coming into the trade deadline, I kind of knew that this was a possibility, and that now that happened, I'm very glad to be a Colt. Being playing against them, they're always a hard team to play against, so I'm glad to be on this side now.
I know sometimes it's hard being traded. Was it nice to have Mason Sebeski alongside you in the deal?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've played with him for 4 years now, and we're actually building together, so it's been a pretty cool transition to be with him too.
Now, for you, Barrie Colts fans, I'm sure some of them know some stuff about you, but for those that don't, what do you bring to this Barrie Colts team?
I'll bring lots of energy and lots of good work on the ice.
Now, tomorrow you already get to play the Brampton Steelheads in your first home game with the Barrie Colts. Pretty quick turnaround for you to play them already.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that I get to play against my old team. Going to see a lot of familiar faces out there. It's going to be pretty fun.
Now, you do have an NCAA commitment in the future. What goes into that process when you're talking to those teams in college, and what are you kind of looking for when you committed?
It's pretty cool to get that extra runway, to get that extra 4 years under your belt of experience in hockey. And, of course, the education's a big part, but, UNH, the school I'm going to, great spot, great coaches. It's all been really good so far.
You've had a couple experiences at NHL training camp as well. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see, what all the pros do, and to be able to bring that back and, share it with the rest of the group. It's pretty neat.
Now, looking at this Barrie Colts blue line, it felt like they were already pretty strong before adding you. How do you feel about just how deep you guys are on defense?
Like you said, real strong on the back end. I feel very confident that we're going to have a good back half of the season.
Is there anyone you were really excited, looking forward to playing with when you first found out you were coming to Barrie?
No one in particular, but, the whole team's been really great so far. I'm really excited to get going with all the boys.
Who's the first person you heard from after the trade?
Carter Lowe. I've known him for a while, so yeah.
You guys used to play together at U16, correct?
We did on the Marlies. Yeah.
Well, Parker, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
So welcome back to the Sleeman Centre in Guelph as the Barrie Colts and the Guelph Storm right now Completing the first period, and it's the Colts who are up 3-1 after the opening 20 minutes. And we do have the chat up and running. So if you want to be involved in the conversation, if you have any comments, questions, put it in the chats, and we can get the conversation going here for the rest of the first intermission. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Well, some Central Division action right now, and you can tell the Brampton Steelheads were sellers at the deadline. They're down 4-0 to North Bay after the first period. 4 goals for North Bay, 4 shots for Brampton. 1-0 Flint after the first period on Saginaw, outshooting them 17-3. Kitchener up 1-0 on Oshawa in the first period. No score at the end of the first in London between the Bulldogs and the Knights. Erie and Sarnia tied at 1 apiece at the end of the first period. Niagara also in Central Division action against Sudbury. It's 1-0 for the Ice Dogs after the first period. Ottawa and the Sioux, no score after the first period. Mike, I know it's trade deadline season. I just want to say I'm glad you're still with us. Gene Pereira was putting out some rumors that he was trying to trade you off the broadcast team, but I'm glad that didn't work out.
Well, he was also sharing trade speculation about Thomas West and not, but it's a good thing they can't trade broadcasters.
Yeah.
That'd be fascinating, though.
I don't know who'd be giving me rides to games anymore, but
hey, we make it work. But yeah, we want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight. It's the first intermission. We're going to say hi to Tammy, hi to Adam, as they're having a great time with the chat. I also saw someone, I think it was Brandon earlier, saying, asking if the Colts are a wagon, or saying the Colts are a wagon right now.
It was more a statement.
I think so, but there's so much excitement right now surrounding this Barrie Colts team, especially after that trade deadline. And now seeing what, with Cole Baldwin and Kayshawn Aitchison back in the lineup, this team could make some noise in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference right now. I mean, obviously the Brantford Bulldogs are the favorites, but there's still a lot of question marks. The Bulldogs haven't pulled away from any team in the Eastern Conference yet this season. But for the Barrie Colts, a lot of talk with the Bulldogs about the 5 first-round draft picks from the NHL. Well, Barrie Colts, they have 3 of their own and a lot of other quality players to definitely go on a run as well. They may have the best goaltender in the Eastern Conference, maybe even the league in Denver Evan.
And the Ottawa 67s, they made a few moves as well. Benkowski, a huge pickup from the Owen Sound attack. It sounded like, for Ottawa, trying to get on Kieran Walton, but getting players like Nick Sema, he's an overage who has a lot of experience with the Saginaw Spirit. And then, of course, with giving away Amidovsky, they got a lot of picks back. But that's Ottawa 67's team, still playing some really good hockey. And it's going to be fascinating to see how this Eastern Conference all shapes up with Brantford, Ottawa, Barrie, and now Peterborough apparently being the big buyers.
Yeah, the interesting thing at the deadline was the Ottawa 67s and the Peterborough Pete's interest in Kieran Walt, the guy we figured was going to net a lot of draft picks and a pretty good player in return. And for Ottawa, obviously not wanting to give up Brock Chitteroni, so that deal kind of didn't work out. But I think we kind of thought maybe they were the favorites yesterday when the Barrie Colts acquired Wilmot, and then Ottawa goes out and trades Nathan Amidovsky in exchange for, I believe it was 7 draft picks. So you figured maybe they were going to flip those draft picks, do something else, but the only move they decided to make was for Benkowski and Sema, 2 guys that should help that team. Sema, a pretty physical guy with that Saginaw Spirit team, and then Benkowski, of course, from Owen Sound. He's very big, but then that C on his jersey was very small, and it's always fun to see.
Yeah, and I'm also just going to point out, I said Jesse Wilmot a couple times in that first period. I apologize right now, because even for us broadcasters, it's going to take us a little bit to get used to the numbers and the names and whatnot, but Jesse Wilmot, what a pickup. No, Ben Wilmot, I did it again. Ben Wilmot, what a pickup from the London Knights, and we even saw that there, hitting the post earlier. A lot of fans were thinking that maybe the Barrie Colts would get Kieran Walton, but, for Ben Wilmot, pretty steady forward and playing quite well out there with Cole Bodwin and Emil Hemmick.
Yeah, a guy that can play both center and wing. So for Wilmot, a guy that is going to be able to play all over the team, I think. He'll probably get some chances here on the top line. And when things aren't working, maybe they decide to go Bodwin, one, Gardner, second line, and then Wilmot leading that third line as well. And he's definitely an interesting piece. Of course, maybe fans didn't realize how interesting of a piece he was because he's not as known. He just kind of came into the league this year playing on a London Knights team that's scoring by committee. And then, of course, you add in Tedeschi and Parker Von Richter, two guys the Colts fans know pretty well from their last couple of years at Brampton, but Wilmot could be a pretty sneaky pickup for this very good team.
Now, Tammy's saying she hopes the team that took Black will play him because Barrie didn't play him that much. Sam Black, of course, traded to the Brampton Steelheads. That was for Mason Zabetsky and Parker Von Richter. And for Sam Black, he was a good sport. He was a team player off the ice, and when he did get his ice time, he was out there doing the best of his abilities. And, you know, for the Brampton Steelheads, they're a team that sold off, brought in a few future assets like Amidovsky from the 67s. But Sam Black, I'm sure we'll get some extra ice time with that Brampton Steelheads team. And we get to see those Steelheads tomorrow.
Yeah, Black probably going to be in the lineup. I can confirm for you, Tammy. He is in the lineup tonight playing on the fourth line for the Steelheads with a new number. He's number 16 now for Brampton instead of 17. And like you mentioned, though, for Sam Black, he got in October 25th against the Kitchener Rangers, and then he had to sit for a while after that. He didn't come back until December 18th against the Sudbury Wolves, played one more game, and then was scratched again for a little bit, and the Wolves at Barrie Colts send him out now. So obviously it's always disappointing to get traded. It's always disappointing to see someone go. It's part of the business. But for Sam Black, I'm sure he's happy to be given an opportunity here by Brampton to maybe be a future part of this core. He's an unproven guy, and he hasn't played that much with the Barrie Colts. So for the Steelheads right now, yeah, he's in a fourth line role, but at the end of the day, he's going to get an opportunity to prove himself. And like you mentioned, Nathan Amidovsky is a sneaky good pickup for that Brampton team with already some decent names around him. Zach Nyman as well as Keaton Arda. Some guys to build around for the future there.
And it's a very similar situation, too, to Bodie Stewart, because with everyone coming in at the trade deadline, Bodie Stewart, if he would have still been on this Barrie Colts roster, he would have seen his minutes reduced even further. So it's great to see that he was moved to the Saginaw Spirit, a team that did sell off some veteran players, and Bodie Stewart will also get a little more ice time playing with that Spirit team.
Well, credit to Bodie Stewart as well. I mean, he got traded at 9 a.m. yesterday and somehow got his way all the way down to Saginaw in time for the game last night. He was wearing number 28, and he was playing on the first line for a rebuilding Spirit team that's going to compete with the Erie Otters for that finally Western Conference playoff spot. I actually think Saginaw gets that after all the players that Erie ended up trading at the deadline. And for Bodie Stewart, unfortunately, there were a lot of good moments. I thought he was really good in that playoff series 2 years ago against the Oshawa Generals. Looked like he could be a core piece of the future for the Barrie Colts. Comes out flying last season, assist after assist after assist. They called him the Orchard in the locker room with all the assists he was getting, but the goal scoring never really came from last year. And then the assists kind of slowly started to fade away. And this season, there were some good moments, but it never really panned out into a consistent player here in Barrie. So he'll get to go to a place he's familiar with in Saginaw. It's the first team he played on before being traded here by Saginaw. And I know, like in Gene's article, Marty Williamson said we gave him a choice. He could stay in Barrie at reduced minutes, or he could be traded to a team he knows in Saginaw and get a lot of minutes. And Bodie ultimately chose to get more minutes, which is absolutely fair to him.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity there for Bodie Stewart returning to the Saginaw Spirit. I see Adam asking, who is my favorite Colt player? If I have to pick one, I'm going to say Parker Von Richter, because that's my favorite name in the Ontario Hockey League right now. That was my favorite name even before the Barrie Colts picked up Parker Von Richter. This is something, it just rolls.
Yeah.
So
the Von Richter.
It's Von Richter. So I'm so glad that Josh, you're able to chat with Von Richter to get him on here on the broadcast, and maybe he'll become a regular appearance.
Oh, really? Von Richter's going to sit a game later this year. You're just going to kick us out of the booth, and you're going to have him beside you. But yeah, I didn't really know who to interview. We were discussing it on the way down. It's like, oh, there's so many options. The World Juniors, the new guys, obviously, but of course we do have another couple trips to Brampton. Maybe we can catch up with Parker Von Richter. Then we'll talk to Mason Zabetsky. Then Ben Wilmot, maybe or Wilmot in London, and then maybe on Sunday against Oshawa we can talk to maybe a Canadian, Cole Boglan or Kayshawn Aitchison. Maybe get into discussion about the World Junior experience, but as well playing in Oshawa for the first time since Game 4 last season when the Barrie Colts ultimately fell to the Generals in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Now, here's an idea for the chat, because now you know who Josh is talking to on Sunday. What's one thing you would ask Cole Bodwin or Kayshawn Aitchison if you had a chance to ask them a question? So maybe we'll get to something like that. But it's about 45 seconds from the start of the second period of play. Right now, the Barrie Colts up 3-1 on the Guelph Storm. Been an entertaining game so far. And for the Barrie Colts team, you're not going to take that foot off the pedal here with the way they played there in that opening frame.
Yeah, it was a great start to the first period. You look at the shots, 13-13. There was a great quote in the media room earlier today. Yeah, this Barrie team, they'll give up 40 shots, but they'll also shoot 40 right at you. And pretty even period for the shot total right now. And Barrie Colts, so a ton of great opportunities. And like we mentioned right before the first intermission, they had a few other opportunities that could have gone into the back of the net that they just missed on.
And also, Tammy reminding us about the New Year's Eve Colts jerseys. They're right now up for auction, and tomorrow at 11:45 a.m. So a great reminder there, Tammy, as we are getting ready for the second period of play. The Barrie Colts up by 2 on the Guelph Storm. As the Barrie Colts, they had all the momentum at times in that first period. A couple of times there, the Storm seemed to have the Colts pinned in their zone, but that's where Ben Horebic stood tall. As shots after the first period, 13 apiece. As right now, Dylan Smoskowitz, the head coach of the Barrie Colts, having a conversation with referee Sean Reed. Haven't really had many penalties called in this game. It's just the one power play so far for the Guelph Storm.
Yeah, Emerton taking the holding call right off the bat. Speaking of jerseys, I got to ask you, it's the Winter Classic just happened recently. Did you ever end up grabbing a Florida Panthers Winter Classic jersey?
No, I did not.
What?
I thought about it, but I decided not to.
Well, I remember you pondering it.
I pondered. I
And
did.
You were like, well, I don't really like grabbing the one-off jerseys. And I said, yeah, right, you're going to get one. And then you never got one.
I didn't. I wasn't even sure who I'd want to get. I already have an Aaron Ekblad Panthers jersey.
Well, like a lot of the main guys weren't even playing in that game.
That's true. Those jerseys were gorgeous, though.
Oh, they were very nice. But it's like, hey, I got a Barkov jersey from a game he didn't play in. I guess that is pretty cool, but
I already have a Barkov jersey. Anyways, back to the hockey game as that puck going out of play. So we're going to redo this face-off. They're going to bring it out to center ice, and we'll see how this second period will play out as Mason Zabeski comes in to take the draw here against Janko Wysick. Face-off at center ice. One there by the Colts. Parker Von Richter sends this one ahead to Zabeski. That's deflected. Here's Crombie. He'll chip that one off the boards and down the ice. After it is Zabeski, but the Storm get to it first. Hanser keeps it at the blue line. Zabeski in front. Crombie couldn't get a stick on it, and the Storm will move this one ahead. Here's Miedema through the neutral zone. That's knocked off his stick. He's going to dump it in. Back to play it is Justin Hanser. Hanser dropping it back to Von Richter. Von Richter up ahead to Zabeski, the two former Steelheads. As Hanser will dump this one in, Colts are making a line change. Ellsworth out of his net. There's a turnover. Crombie down low to Gardner. Back to Crombie. Across, but blocking that for the Storm was Patrick Babin. And now the Storm have a 2-on-1. Here's Snellgrove on the wing. Takes their shots. And getting a stick in the lane was Evan Passmore, as that's going to go out of play.
That good shot there for Shiveski. Passmore did a good job getting in front of it, though. And on the 2-on-1 there. Nice pass from Crombie back the other way, trying to send it across to the open Wilmot, but wasn't able to get it over there.
So face-off will come to the right of Ben Horebic. Bodwin will take the draw here against Snellgrove. Bodwin's going to be tossed out of the face-off dot. So in steps Emil Hemming. So we're approaching the 1-minute mark of this second period. Plenty of whistles to start the second frame. Is scrambled draw, trying to get the shot to go as McKenzie. Puck comes to the point. Kept in by Spada. Puck's at the side of the net. Snellgrove comes out of the corner, passing it up to Spada. That's taken away by Wilmot. They'll get it out. Passmore trying to flip that one across, but it's laid offside here against the Barrie Colts. Spada quickly ahead to Singh. Snellgrove receives the pass, trying to get it by Aitchison. Puck rolls to the corner. Passmore will send this one around at the point. Spada riding the blue line, sends it across. There's Singh with a shot, and that's blocked. Wilmot can't get that one out of the zone. The Storm keep it down low. McKenzie comes out from behind the net. Plays this one in the corner. Kayshawn Aitchison shadowing him. McKenzie passing this one down low. Snellgrove in front. Backhand wide of the net there by the Guelph Storm. That was Humpanenko. Papanenko trying to get it again. Now it's at the point. Sing across, one-timer, and that's blocked. Getting in the way of that was Kayshawn Aitchison. Good chance there for the Guelph Storm. Colts get this one out to center. Spada got a skate on it as Bodwin will send it back into the Guelph zone. Doesn't go too far. Now it's Wilmot. Ahead for Hemming. That's going to go into the Guelph zone. Storm trying to catch the Colts on a change. Suarez has it on the near side. Takes the shot. Rebick the glove save and decides to hold on to it as Barrie Colts. We don't see that same jump that we saw in that first period.
A slow start here to the second Barrie Colts. You look at the last game, they came out flying against Niagara. They get the big lead there early, 4-1 lead off a early goal, the second from William Schneid, but then they kind of just tried to back off and win that game 4-1, and it didn't work out. Niagara got back in that game, so obviously don't want to see that happen again here.
Face off won by the Storm. Here's Beauchesne at the point. Takes the shot. Stopped by Horebic. Rebound picked up by Lowe. Can't get it out. Kept in by Beauchesne. Quinn Beauchesne takes it down low to the net. Gallagher couldn't get a stick on it. Holtz move it up. Schneid fans on the first pass attempt. Sends that one forward. Babin back to play it here for Guelph. Loose puck taken away by Schneid. Backhand pass. Emerton shot scores. Cole Emerton finds the back of the nets after William Schneid created the turnover. And the Colts, they're up 4-1.
A nice play there by William Schneid. He's able to strip the Guelph defender Babin there. The puck behind the net, backhands it out to an open Emerton. And that one hits off Ellsworth and into the net. Another goal for Emerton. Guys starting to come alive for this Barrie Colts team on the back end. Goals in back-to-back games now.
For Cole Emerton, now 3 goals on the season, but what a play there. William Schneid creating that turnover, and good work, Emerton going to the net. As that puck rolls deep into the Barrie zone, Emerton ahead to McCormick. McCormick sends it across to an open wing. Jaden Newton after the loose puck. He'll pick it up. Desiderio chips this one into the Guelph zone. That ends up back behind the Guelph net. Storm with it. Beauchesne up ahead, Miedema. Miedema able to get it out. That's going to go down the ice. Eliasson comes back, but they're going to call icing here against the Storm. As Guelph had the momentum to start the second period, but Barrie Colts getting that goal, and it seems like the air has been taken out of the building.
All it takes is one chance, and all of a sudden the Barrie Colts have made it 4-1. It's kind of defeating when you go down by 3 here early in the second period. Not the start Guelph was looking for it.
Face off to the right of Ellsworth. Jade Newton set to take the draw up against Jaco Wysick. Face off won by the Storm. Well, flipping this one down the ice, getting a stick on it there was Beauchesne. Hanser gets it at his own blue line. Justin Hanser puts that one off Leo Serlin. Serlin trying to move it ahead. Hanser's there. Still trying to move it ahead. Wysick got a stick in the way. Beauchesne from his own blue line. Quinn Beauchesne sends this one across. The Storm dump it in. Horebic out of his net to play it. Behind his own net. Backhand pass to Hanser. Hanser over to Von Richter. Parker Von Richter sends this one ahead at center. Fassard with it. He'll dump this one in. Horebic behind the net. He's going to leave it there for Von Richter. Parker Von Richter skating this one up. At center, up to Newton. Jaden Newton will dump this one in. McCormick chasing after it. McKenzie behind the net, facing some pressure. He'll drop this one back to Top. Top sends this one to the near side. Von Richter after the loose puck. He'll get to it. Von Richter along the boards, taken away there by the Storm. Deflected, Zabeski towards the net. Top takes it for the Storm. And Guelph will move it up. McKenzie across, knocked down at center ice by Hanser. Storm, though, still able to force it into the Barrie zone. Snellgrove after it. Storm trying to take this one to the net. Collected there by Brad Gardner. Up to Crombie. Calvin Crombie reaches center. Chasing after it here is Gardner. Gardner trying to get a stick on it. Taken there by Singh. Storm moving up. Shabinsky through center. He's bumped off the puck by Crombie. And the Storm will dump it in. 15.5 minutes still to go in the second period. Right now, 4-1 for the Barrie Colts. Cole Emerton, the latest goal scorer here for Barrie. Aitchison's going to come out from the net. Ahead for Calvin Crombie. Crombie. It's by Hapanenko. Crombie dumps it to the corner. Spada looking over his shoulder. Sends this one around. There's Cole Bodwin. Finds that loose puck. Bodwin, though, can't hold on to it. Suarez gets it out. Bodwin trying to dig it free. Suarez gets it again here for Guelph. Towards the net, Hopanenko across. There's a shot stopped by Hrebeck. It's in the air, bouncing. Storm trying to get to it. Ends up at the point for Spada. Storm moving it around. Here's Singh. Takes the shot, stop, rebound, and that ends up behind the net. Good opportunity there for the Storm, but it's the Colts who will get it out. ML Hemming gets a stick on it, so no icing. Ends up deep in the Guelph zone. There's Hemming in for deflected. What a chance for Wilmot. Ellsworth made a huge save. Ellsworth was just still getting back into his net. Now the Storm will get it out. Emerton back to play it. Wysick putting on the pressure. Ends up behind the Colts net. Cole Emerton with possession. Sends it up to Emil Hemming. Hemming through the neutral zone. Makes one move. Carrying this one in. Hemming. He stood up. Bodwin follows it up. Back to Emerton. Emerton to the net. Takes the shot. That's deflected wide. Eliasson keeps it in at the blue line. The Storm will get this one out to center. Hemming can't get a stick on it. Serlin carries it in for the Storm. He'll hit the brakes on the far side, drops it back to the point. There's the Storm. There's the shot over the net by Babin. Beauchene down low for Guelph. Ends up behind the Barrie net. Miedema comes up with it. Emerton trying to get a stick on it as the Storm moving around. Miedema at the point. Trying to get around Emerton. They'll peel back. Miedema still with it. Babin shot stopped by Hrebeck. And that's going to go out of play, but my, oh my, the chances at both ends. And Ben Wilmot, he's had a couple of good opportunities.
You figured out his name
Thank
now.
you.
Good job, Mike. It's nice that it's the TV timeout, so we can kind of take a second to break some of those chances down. It was Guelph with a big opportunity. Hrebeck makes the initial save, but then Jakob Wysick sitting in the crease waiting for the puck to come down from out of the air, and Hrebeck gets his blocker on it up top, is able to deflect it away from him, then makes another save, and then back the other way. Ellsworth just comes out of his net, tries to make a play up the boards, Hemming able to knock it down and caught him as he was coming back into his net, made the initial save, and then Wilmot was right there, but couldn't find the back of the net. But back and forth, these teams have gone here over the last couple of minutes. Right now, the shot total 18-15 for the Guelph.
I'm really, I have no idea how Ellsworth made that save.
That was a great play. I mean, it's funny as well. We got the Guelph radio right to our left, and then the Guelph TV right above us. Like, when that went off, all I can hear is a bunch of people just yelling.
This is what happens when you have too many play-by-play people close by. Puck's at center ice. Salandra takes the hit, but following up is Schneid. He'll knock this into the Guelph zone. Schneid plays it from his knees. Gets it to the corner. He'll send this one around. Hands are off the blue line. Doesn't take the shot. Has it in the corner. Takes a bump. Hands are back to Schneid. That goes off his stick, and Miedema will get it out for the Storm. Up ahead, that's Leo Serlin up to Gallagher. Gallagher on the far side, backhand pass, and that's blocked by Carter Lowe. Puck comes around. Gallagher at the point. There's a shot from Frassard, and that's going to go wide of the net. Von Richter playing this along the boards, taken away by Gallagher. Gallagher has it in the corner. Von Richter got a stick on it. The Storm, though, still with possession. Back to the point. That's top. They'll send that one around. 13 minutes left here in the second period. Colts chip this one down the ice. That puck's rolling. And it's going to be an icing call against Barrie, although the Colts protesting it, but they're still bringing this one back.
Yeah, Keishon Aitchison disagrees, but not much of a discussion afterwards. So I think all four officials are pretty sure it was icing.
Yeah, that was a one-sided argument. No one was listening to Aitchison.
Hey, that's not icing. No? Okay. Anyway.
Face off to the right of Hrebeck. They're going to have to do this one again. Tyler Hopkins in to take the draw here for the Storm. As William Schneid set to take the face-off for the Colts. 12:53 still to play in the second period. 4-1 for Barrie. Face-off won by the Colts. Von Richter gets to it here for Barrie. Passing this one forward to Schneid. William Schneid up to center ice. Wysick will take it away. Jakob Wysick trying to carry it in. Goes to McFadden. That's off his stick. And the Colts will send it down the ice. It's going to sail back into the Guelph zone. Ellsworth decides to play it. Gives it up to Frassard. Up the wing. Wysick got a stick on it. Knocked down by Von Richter. Up ahead to McCormick. Jonah McCormick's got some speed. Trying to get a lane in the net. Ellsworth pokes it. Puck's loose. It's in the blue paint. Colts trying to get to it. McCormick's on top. They jam at it. Hopkins is there too. And we're going to get a whistle for a glove-to-head pass. I believe it was, they're saying McCormick tried to give it to Newton. This face-off's coming out.
It's scrum there at the net. McCormick off a nice pass from Von Richter, drives the net. Nice save by Ellsworth, and then everyone's in there, and then eventually the puck does come free, but I think McCormick was trying to sneak one on the officials there.
Well, the official was right on top of that scrum, so he clearly saw that. So this faceoff will come outside the Guelph blue line. And Shabinsky is out there for the Storm. Snellgrove's going to take the draw here for Guelph up against Jaden Newton. Face-off won by the Colts. Kayshawn Aitchison from his own blue line, already sitting on 2 goals tonight. Pass more ahead to McCormick. That's knocked down by Beauchene. McCormick trying to force it through. Colts after it. Back in their own zone, that's Aitchison. He's got Snellgrove there on the forecheck. Gives that one over to Jaden Newton. Newton up to Desiderio. That's center McCormick. He was lined up there by Quinn Beauchene, but I think McCormick may have gotten the better of him on that one. Puck goes deep into the Barrie zone. Aitchison there to play it. Goes off the official. Storm with it at the blue line. Trying to move this one around. Desiderio gets to it, and he'll get it out. Beauchene from center ice. He's going to backtrack into his own zone. Both teams right now making a line change. Shabinsky up ahead. That's Wysick trying to carry it in, but that's knocked off his tape. Wysick gets it again at the half boards. Back to Beauchene. That pass is deflected off to the far side. Singh comes up with it. Back to Beauchene. Quinn Beauchene carrying it in now for the Storm. Sends this one across. Singh fires. Didn't get all of that one. He had Kayshawn Aitchison standing right in front. Mason Zabeski comes up with it. Can't get that one out as Wysick knocked it down at the blue line. Jaco Wysick cuts to the middle. Takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Papanenko sending this one back to Spada at the line. Singh on the near point. Singh takes his time, goes back to Spada. One-timer blocked by Crombie. That goes in the air. Zabeski will get it over to Aitchison and out. Aitchison at center, dumps this one in. Ellsworth out of his net to play it. We'll send this one around. Zabeski knocks it down in the corner, sends it in front, but Gardner couldn't get there in time, and the Storm have possession. At center, it's Singh. Ryland Singh carried in, drops it back to Suarez. Puck goes around the net. Singh on the far side. In front, Gallagher can't get a stick on it. Gallagher able to get it this time. Back to Spade at the blue line. Takes the shot. That's going to go wide. Gardner after the loose puck to play it here for the Colts. Sends this back to Eliasson. Gabriel Eliasson up ahead to Cole Emerton. Emerton makes a move. At his pocket pick there by Serlin. Leo Serlin carrying it in now for the Storm. Takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. As Leo Serlin, bit of a thief move there, steals the puck from Cole Emerton, but Hrebeck gets the better of him.
Yeah, nice move there. Slithers on in behind Emerton, and it's the sneaky stick lift there. Too many
Easy
guesses.
for you to say.
Yeah. It's kind of like we saw out of Anthony Romani last season. He'd always, just ever so slightly come in and make it look effortless, and it creates some great scoring chances, and nice one there for Serlin, but Hrebeck makes the save.
Well, Leo Serlin right now second in scoring for the Guelph Storm. 9 goals, 20 assists, good for 29 points. He's one of those veteran players that he's going to be counted upon for this Guelph Storm team as they want to be competitive in this final stretch towards the playoffs. Face-off won by Serlin. That goes back to Beauchene at the point. Gives that one up to Babin. Babin settles it down. He'll send it around the boards, down low. Miedema gives that one up to Serlin. Serlin still out there for the Storm, taking a battle there with Hemming. Von Richter trying to get a stick on it. Serlin finds it. Back to Babin. He'll lose the handle. Cole Beaudoin goes for a skate. 2-on-1 developing here for the Colts. It's Beaudoin. Backhand across. Hemming shot, scores! Or actually, that's Wilmot. His first career goal with the Barrie Colts. Keep that puck. And it's now 5-1.
Well, congrats to Ben Wilmot. He's been all around it here tonight, and a great pass from Beaudoin, getting it across to Wilmot, who came flying in, puts it home. Only 12 goals with the London Knights. He was more known for his assists with the Knights, but he's all around the net, getting some great opportunities tonight, and finally gets rewarded there for his first goal as a Barrie Colt.
Oh, everyone giving him the fist pumps on the Barrie Colts bench. A big moment there for Ben Wilmot. And we're so used to seeing on a 2-on-1 Beaudoin and Hemming that now we got to get used to Wilmot, another weapon that could join the rush. As Joe Slander trying to go in the net, passes it, stopped by Ellsworth. Puck sitting there as Carter Lowe couldn't get there in time. as Ellsworth will cover it up. 9:32 left here in the second period.
Well, I can't blame you at all for saying having. Like, you just assume, like, with those two, a guy comes flying in, and for Wilmot, he came soon, and he gets the tip on, it goes flying into the boards. It was hard to figure out who that was.
But that's why they picked him up from the London Knights. That's what they were looking for. Another weapon up front. And it's been on full display here tonight for the Barrie Colts. There's a shot stopped by Ellsworth. That was Schneid who fired that one. Wysick comes up the loose puck. Top in the corner, taken away there by Carter Lowe. Behind the net, Schneid. Schneid, he's taken into the corner. Top in a battle with him. Lowe delivers the check. Colts get it again. Slandra comes off the boards. McFadden tried to take it away. It's kept in at the blue line by Eliasson. That's sent to the near corner. Lowe lets it go. Picked up now by Schneid. Schneid trying to go around the net. Sends it back to the blue line. Here's Gabriel Eliasson. Eliasson back to Schneid. In the corner it goes. Salandra trying to play it. Tied up there by Frassard. Lowe behind the net. Wysick got a stick on it there. Colts putting on more pressure here. They move it around. Here's Schneid. Shot stopped by Ellsworth. Rebound picked up by McFadden. He's going to skate this one around. McFadden moving this one forward. Reaches center ice. He's going to dump this one in. Storm make a line change. Now down to 8:25 in the period. Here's Jonah McCormick. Drops it back for Newton. Jaden Newton's going to send this one deep. That bounces around the boards. Ryland Singh can't get a stick on it. Picking it up to McCormick. That's knocked off his stick there by McKenzie. McKenzie losing it to Newton. Newton gets it in the corner. Trying to pass it in front. Blocked by Spada. Storm able to get this one out to center ice. McCormick there to collect it for the Colts. Gave that one up to Snellgrove. Snellgrove carries it in, avoids the hit from Aitchison. Snellgrove tied up there by McCormick. Sends this one back. Here's Spada. Takes the shots. And Harevic able to see that one as he'll hold on. Shots now favoring the Storm 21-20. But what a game here by the Barrie Colts.
Well, it's been a tough night for Colin Ellsworth right now, 15-20 for him, but he may just have to eat this one. The Storm are right back at it tomorrow against the Peterborough Petes, and their regular starter, Zachary Jovanovski, is the backup goalie tonight. They decided not to use a different backup instead of him, so Ellsworth may just have to eat one here.
Well, the Storm, they've been kind of going back and forth between goaltenders. Jovanovski played Wednesday night up in Owen Sound. As Shavinsky takes the shot, that's blocked. Colts trying to get it out. Nice effort there, Shavinsky keeping that one down low. Snellgrove after the loose puck. Gardner reaching for it. Don't come up with it. Gives that one up to Von Richter. Here's Zabeski. Mason Zabeski reaches center ice. He's going to dump this one. Ellsworth out of his net to play it. Ellsworth sending this one around. Crombie tried getting away. Gardner to the net. Here's Crombie behind the goal. Crombie in front. Zabeski, and that one's blocked in front. Puck comes back to the point. Zabeski near side to Aitchison. Kayshawn Aitchison in a battle there with Shabinsky. Stays with it. In front, Gardner. His shot blocked by Ellsworth. Storm trying to get this one out. Puck's bouncing at the line. Zabeski sends to the corner. Crombie after it here for the Colts. Keeps it away from Singh. Takes a hard hit there from Spada. McKenzie comes up with it for the Storm. He'll move this one out to center. He's facing pressure there from Gardner. And the Colts send it right back into the Guelph zone. Ellsworth out of his net to play it. Both teams making changes. 6:44 left to go in the second period. 5-1 for the Barrie Colts. And newly acquired Ben Wilmot getting his first as a Colt. Spada will pass this one over to Singh. Singh will flip this one into the Barrie zone. And we're going to get a whistle here, as I believe that puck may have made contact with the glass at the end of the Guelph Storm bench.
Another decent shift there from Mason Zabeski. And of course, with incoming in, one of the overagers has to come out. So unfortunately, Alex Asadorian no longer with the team. It sounds like he's joining the Chicago Steel of the USHL. And this is one of the better things about the new NCAA rules is that often this time of year, overagers that end up being taken off their team, don't really know much about their future. But for Asadorian, already a commitment next season to Yale University that was in place before leaving the Barrie Colts.
And it's my understanding, too, that Marty Williamson tried to find a spot for Alex Asadorian in the Ontario Hockey League, but just not able to make a deal before the overage trade deadline on Thursday. As the Colts with it, Wilmot trying that one-timer, but kind of off balance. Storm will send this one around. Babbitt ahead. Wysick picks it up at center ice for the Storm. He'll carry it in. Jakob Wysick across. Suarez had that one go off his skate. Stays with it. Suarez coming back to the blue line for the Storm, trying to come up the middle. Suarez with it, takes the shot, and that's going to be deflected over the netting and out of play as we're down to 5:45 left to go in the second period. What a game here tonight for the Barrie Colts.
Well, I know in Gene's recent article, also talking to Marty, Marty talked about how for Asadorian, I mean, he's a guy that, he's a goal scorer. He needs to play on the power play. He needs to play those consistent minutes to be a guy that gets going. And unfortunately for the Barrie Colts, they just weren't able to find that role for him here in Barrie. Last year in Niagara, he had that role and you saw what he could do with it. But unfortunately this season, wasn't able to get that opportunity with the Colts, and they bring in Mason Zabeski instead as an overager, a bit of a different style of player, a guy that's going to get to lay the body and get to the corners of the ice and make some big plays as well there in the corner. Just two different players that bring something different.
So right now, shots even at 21 apiece between the Colts and the Storm, and that's where it is tough in junior hockey when you have that limit on the overagers, because it is hard to trade somebody or release somebody like an Alex Asadorian who is well liked with the Barrie Colts organization. And that's just the tough part of the junior hockey business when you have those limits as to who you can have.
He's got 20 points in the season. Like, there's guys on the roster that had less points than him, but at the end of the day, there's only allowed to be 3 guys, and it's who the Barrie Colts chose.
Play continues here at the Sleeman Centre as that shot's blocked by Hanser, and that's going to go out of play. So we'll try this face-off over again now. 5:35 left to go in the second period.
Brad Gardner, a guy with 17 goals on the season. Calvin Crombie, I think many Colts fans have fallen in love with the way he plays. Like, there's really no shame in the guys that Alex Asadorian lost his role to. It's not really a bad thing on him. It just came down to a numbers game, unfortunately for him, and he was the odd man out.
Face-off won by the Storm. Miedema sends it over to Serlin. That shot's blocked. Puck's side of the net. They jam at it. Gallagher is there. A Colt player falling. That was Salandra. Brassard comes back to the blue line for the Storm. There's a shot. Miedema as Horebic able to make the save. As Ethan Miedema, that one had some heat.
Yeah, good look from Miedema there on the point. Veteran presence for Guelph. I know you mentioned it earlier, maybe wanting to have that veteran presence, and that definitely is a good point. That Guelph Storm, they still want to do some damage this season, and the bottom 4 spots in the Western Conference playoff race wide open. So you don't know. Like, Guelph right now, they're 7th in the conference. They could end up being that team that ends up being 5th.
Well, the London Knights ahead of them, big sellers at the trade deadline. So if they could catch London, and this Storm team, you never know. They could be a challenger there in that 4-5 matchup. As the Colts get this one down the ice, Serlin got a stick on it, so no icing. Gallagher catches up to it. Miedema has it in the corner. Ethan Miedema along the boards. Stays with it, trying to get a lane to the net. That pass didn't go the way he wanted it to. Back at the line. Brassard shot off the crossbar, blocked by Aitchison, and now it's in the nets. That puck was bouncing around, and Leo Serlin will finish it off for Guelph. And it's now 5-2.
Oh, what a sequence there. The initial shot, we thought it may have gone in. The one-timer from the point, and nice drop back to the point by Miedema. He gets it up there. The one-timer gets off the post, and then flying on in there is Leo Serlin, but Aitchison with a great block on the play. And then Brassard in from behind, able to put it home. It took 3 opportunities, but Guelph does get on the board to make it a 5-2 game.
So they're going to give credit, I believe, to Leo Serlin. So for Serlin, that's now 10 goals on the season. As that puck just bouncing around, they may take a look at it, but right now they're saying Leo Serlin, play continues. 4.5 minutes left here in the period as the Storm are within 3. That's going to be sent into the Guelph zone. Beauchesne back to play it here for the Storm. Knocked down at center ice by Crombie. Crombie carrying it in for the Colts. But no, they're going to say that was offside as Brad Gardner just not able to get out of the zone in time.
That's a bit mean to Broussard. He only got 1 goal this year. Why can't you give it to him?
I thought at first that maybe that puck hit the center bar in the net, but they showed the replay at center ice, and it clearly went off the crossbar. But Broussard so close to getting that second. So Brad Gardner being tossed out of the faceoff circle. So in steps Mason Zabeski. He's going to win that faceoff. Cole Emerton sending this one into the Guelph zone. Singh down low, gives it up to Hopkins. Tyler Hopkins to Spada. Spada, backhand pass up to McFadden. McFadden has a lane. Sliding across it. They fake it in. Getting that shot to go was Bill McFadden. And the Guelph Storm, they've now scored back-to-back goals.
Just like that, we have a game. The crowd here at the Sleeman Centre coming alive. McFadden coming up the wings, diving out there is Elias, and I don't know if it hit him or if McFadden just his path across there was in the crease, and it hit off Ben Berevik's pad and into the net. Trying to pass it across to Lane Gallagher, but McFadden ends up getting a goal.
Well, they got the tablet on the bench. They're taking a look at this. As it's just a tough break there for the Barrie Colts. Will McFadden now 5 goals on the season. So this game's getting more interesting. It's now 5-3. 3:48 left in the second period as Aitchison sends it around to Cole Beaudoin. Beaudoin up the middle to Wilmot. Wilmot knocks this one into the zone, but we're going to call that one offside. That one pretty close, but we'll get the face-off.
Well, the Guelph Storm making this one a game. It's a couple good chances, couple bounces out front to made it 5-3, and they can hold this score going into the break. They may have a good chance in this game and coming back.
Well, the Storm having some momentum right now, outshooting the Barrie Colts 25-21. As it's been a while since we've seen a Barrie Colts shot on net. Puck's down low, Wilmot. Passing this one back in front. Not able to get there in time was Hemming. Puck goes behind the Guelph net. Storm with it. That's Spada. Surrounded by white sweaters. Taken away there by Hemming. Passes it in front. But not able to get to it was Wilmot. Storm getting out. Picked up here by Passmore. He's going to dump it in. Down low. Ends up behind the net. Ellsworth's going to play it for the Storm. Ryland Singh. Put this right on his own net. Ellsworth able to react in time. So the Storm and Colts both making line changes right now. Spada has it behind his own net. He's waiting for his line mates to finish the change. Spada moving it up now for the Guelph Storm. Up the wing. Suarez on the wing. Flips this one into the Barrie zone. Puck's bouncing. Picked up there by Hanser. Hanser, though, can't hold on to it. Puck's in the corner. Hanser gets it again. Up to Lowe. Carter Lowe. Sends us into the Guelph zone. Beauchene's there to play it. Sends it across. Schneid after it. Storm get up. Hapanenko over to Suarez. Suarez gets this one in the zone for the Storm towards the net. Berevic will just guide that to the corner. Carter Lowe puts that one off. Wysick. Suarez can't control that pass. Suarez, though, will keep this one down low for the Storm. Here's Wysick behind the net. Blocked by Lowe. Storm more pressure here. There's the shot. The puck's just sitting there beside Harebic. The fans here reacted. But Ben Harebic able to get that one in time. As the Guelph Storm right now, all the momentum as we're now down to 2:09 left to go in the second.
All over the Barrie Colts right now. And there, looked like Ben Harebic maybe not realizing where the puck was, as he looked like he was about to just let it go and realized where it was, dives on it to keep Guelph driving the net.
All right, now Christopher Suarez having some words with the Barrie Colts. He's a little hot under the collar. But it's been a pretty disciplined game. Only one penalty called all night. That was back in the first period. As these two teams continue to go back and forth. Gardner drops this one back behind the net for Aitchison. He's tied up by Gallagher. Aitchison ahead for Calvin Crombie. Crombie's going to flip this one out. Beauchene tried to get a stick on it. Babin there to play it. Gardner on the forecheck creates the turnover. Gardner in front. Crombie, but coming back in time is Beauchene. Here's Brad Gardner now. Passes this across. Finds Aitchison. Shot up by Ellsworth. That went off the crossbar. Ellsworth made the shoulder save. Storm can't get it out. Here's Brad Gardner. Trying to go to Zabeski. Zabeski's knocked off stride. Delayed penalty here against the Storm. Gardner shot stopped by Ellsworth. Aitchison gets it at the point. Brevik's on the bench for the extra attacker. Delayed penalty here against Guelph. Baudouin down to Gardner. Back to Baudouin. Baudouin takes the shot. Deflected over the net. Gardner's there. He's going to send it around to Baudouin. Cole Baudouin at the point. Sets up Emerton. Emerton down low. Gardner. One-timer by Aitchison. It's wide of the net. The Storm will touch it up. As we'll get the call, it's going to be for a hook. So the Barrie Colts, they're going to get their first power play of the hockey game.
That looks like it's going against Patrick Babin here. Barrie Colts' second line putting on some good pressure, and penalty may not have happened if Miedema was able to get the puck out of the zone, but Calvin Crombie stops him at the blue line to keep the puck in the zone. It gets down low to Gardner, and after that, Spada takes the penalty, and then I think as well, Zabeski may have accidentally caught Gardner in the face with his stick. Looked like Gardner, Zabeski's stick was up near there, and Gardner kind of tilted his head back.
This Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com as the Colts move it around. Here's Hemming on the far side, down low to guard for Salandra. Back to Hemming from the half board, sets up Emerton. Cole Emerton sets things up, goes to Baudouin. Baudouin, near side Aitchison, doesn't take the shot. Back to the line, Emerton. Emerton to Aitchison. He wanted to take that one-timer, but Hopkins put on the pressure. Good read by Tyler Hopkins. Battle along the boards. Storm gets to the line, not out. Emerton. Hemming to the net, blocked by Hopkins. What a shift here by Tyler Hopkins. He has it again, and he'll get it out. Lysick in the neutral zone. Shorthanded chance here now for the Guelph Storm. Lysick, though, made one too many moves, putting Hopkins offside.
Smart try by Wysick there, trying to get back down the other way. The first time we've seen that first unit together since before the World Juniors, obviously, and now a new look second unit out there with all three of the new Barrie Colts alongside Gardner and Crombie.
Well, the power play has had success this season. It's fifth overall in the OHL, operating at 23.7%, while the penalty kill for Guelph, it is the third best in the Ontario Hockey League at 82.9%. Colts win the face-off. They have a minute 6 still to work with. 13 seconds remaining in the period. Puck comes back to the point. Crombie. Calvin Crombie. Down low. Passes in front. Blocked by Singh. Puck's in the corner. Zabeski trying to get a stick on it. He will. Sends it back to the blue line. 3 seconds. Here's Von Richter. His shot blocked in front. And that will come at the buzzer. So the Barrie Colts will have the power play when we go into the third period. But a game that looked like the Colts were in full control. They were up 5-1. And suddenly the Guelph Storm have decided to make a game of it.
Yeah, good effort here by the Storm in the second half of the second period. There a couple of great opportunities. First, of course, it was Serlin getting that goal. And then McFadden as well, sending it off the pads of Benarevic and into the net. And then on that power play there for Barrie, you could definitely tell the Guelph Storm are one of the best penalty kills in the league. They did a great job getting bodies in front of pucks and not really letting the Barrie Colts get it to the net. Really good shift there as well, like you mentioned, by Tyler Hopkins.
Yeah, that was an outstanding shift by Tyler Hopkins. He was blocking shots. He was winning puck battles along the boards, and then nearly set up Jaco Wysick. It almost seemed like maybe Wysick, the puck got stuck in the snow in front of the Guelph Storm bench, but a great opportunity there. But, this Guelph Storm team, give them credit. They're fighting hard here to keep this a close hockey game.
Yeah, and they're going to fight into the third period. It's interesting to see how this fares because, the Guelph Storm, they had all the momentum in the second half of the period there. Sometimes you kind of just wish that the intermission isn't happening because you want to keep that momentum going into the third period.
Yeah, so we'll see how things play out going into the third period when the Barrie Colts start with the man advantage. But pregame, I had a chance to catch up with color commentator Mark Perry. He does the color commentary on TV, Rogers TV for the Guelph Storm. He's also the color commentary for the road broadcast for the Sudbury Wolves, so he kind of wears two hats.
He gets around.
He does, and I figured he may have been one of the better people to talk to after the OHL trade deadline because he can talk about the Storm and the Sudbury Wolves, because those two teams pretty busy there at the trade deadline.
Yeah, some big moves on both sides. Of course, Guelph building for the Memorial Cup next season. And credit to Mark as well. I remember he was your first guest of the season. before the Barrie Colts home opener, and he laid out a pretty good case for the Guelph Storm to be the Memorial Cup hosts, and in the end, they do get it. And then, of course, Sudbury, one of the bigger sellers in the OHL, sending out Vilna, Moran, and Walt.
So here's the conversation I had pregame with Mark Perret, the color commentator for the Guelph Storm TV broadcast.
So joined by Rogers TV color commentator Mark Perry for the Guelph Storm. And Mark, today, a busy day for teams around the Ontario Hockey League. It's the OHL Trade Deadline, and the Storm today, no moves, but leading up, a couple additions, Joshua Avery, Tyler Hopkins. So some moves that, thinking about the future and still trying to make it into the playoffs here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing is with this team is that yes, you have a Memorial Cup coming here in 2027, at least hosting the tournament. You want to go in through the front door, but also you don't want to go in with a lack of playoff experience. So I think what George Burnett did here is pretty good in the sense that you don't want to give up on this season, and you want to make sure that the guys you are bringing in are ready and they know the system and they're ready to go for that 2027 year, because you don't want to throw all of your eggs into the trade deadline next year and then you have all of your top players only have half a season to get adjusted. Maybe they don't adjust well to the system, and then your Memorial Cup is gone just like that because your guys aren't adjusting all that much. So this gives an opportunity for everybody that's here to get their feet wet, and I think for Tyler Hopkins and Josh Avery especially, this is an opportunity for them to kind of step up as leaders, if you will, too, because a couple of leaders went out the door in Jet Luchenko and Charlie Paquette.
And it also says a lot, too, that the confidence that George Burnett has with the core right now, that this is, a team that could carry them into the postseason. Obviously, other teams have loaded up in the Western Conference, but this is why you play the games. You never know what you're going to get.
Exactly. You want to be a tough out, and I think when you look at Guelph, 7th place right now in the Western Conference, if the playoffs started today, they'd be playing Kitchener, and they've played Kitchener tough all season long, albeit they haven't gotten all the results that they would want to. But that's exactly it here. It kind of speaks again to the fact that this is a team that is loading up for the Memorial Cup. The cupboards aren't bare by any means whatsoever, and the core that they have right now, will give some teams some fits. I mean, you have some young players at the forward unit that were relative unknowns coming into this year in Ilya Shabinsky, for example. Leo Serlin has been around for a couple of years now. Parker Snellgrove's really coming into his own, not only as an offensive threat, but one of the best face-off guys in the league. On the back end, Quinn Beauchesne just coming off of being drafted by Pittsburgh, trying to find his game a little bit more here, and getting the minutes that he's been getting. Rowan Top has really kind of blossomed into a great two-way defender. Shoots the puck well, isn't getting the goals that he would want, but one of those guys that the plus minus will show that he is going to be one of those better defenders out there. You look up and down the lineup, the core's looking pretty good, and there's some spots that still need to be filled, but George Burnett has been around this game for a long time, and he'll fill those holes and complement those core pieces quite nicely.
And I had you on at the beginning of the season before the Storm made their appearance in Barrie, and we were talking about the Memorial Cup. And at the time, we didn't know if Guelph would win the bid. You sold it quite well, I thought, in the interview. And when they announced Guelph would be the host, I was like, you know what? Mark called it. So you guys must be thrilled to have that opportunity.
I was a salesman in a previous life, so selling things is kind of my jam. But that's really it. I mean, a lot of people underestimated this city, especially going up against Kitchener, that were, very much, very vocal about their wanting to host the 2027 Memorial Cup. Guelph swooped in and said, hey, it's our 200th anniversary. It's serendipitous for us to actually bid here. And they put in a phenomenal bid, brought in some alumni, showed the committee just why this organization should be able to host it, because it's more than just the on-ice product. Yes, Kitchener has shown some better results the last couple of years on the ice, but I think Guelph is ready to kind of blossom into such a great threat come 26-27, and that's just the on-ice product. The off-ice product, well, the It speaks for itself, basically, from the pitch, from the organization to the committee.
Now let's switch hats because you also do color commentary for the Sudbury Wolves, and the Wolves, they've been busy this week, and today the big Kieran Walton deal. From your perspective, covering the Sudbury Wolves, what are your thoughts on these moves?
Admittedly, to Peterborough was kind of a head scratcher. I didn't have Peterborough on my bingo card as being the team to get Kieran Walton. You start to think with the Eastern Conference, you have Barrie, of course. Brantford is also one of those teams that are in that running in the Eastern Conference. But Kieran Walton did fetch a pretty nice piece in Genzula. He gets to rejoin his brother up north. And they get some draft capital too for the Wolves to really work with. Kieran Walton, he was going to fetch a pretty penny. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's second in the league in scoring on a team that just barely squeaked back into the playoff picture recently. So I think that it was a given that he was going to go. I just didn't have Peterborough.
I don't think many people had Peterborough, but still, it just makes the Eastern Conference that much more fascinating to see what the Petes do. But Mark, thank you for doing this. It's kind of strange now seeing you here in Guelph after seeing you up in Barrie the last couple of times, but appreciate you doing this.
A friend of mine always calls me Mr. What's the term? I think it's Mr. Worldwide, I think is the term. So I'm everywhere.
So it's the second intermission here at the Sleeman Centre as the Barrie Colts and the Guelph Storm battle it out. The Barrie Colts had a 5-1 lead in that second period, but a couple of quick goals there from the Guelph Storm, making it a 5-3 score. So it's going to be quite the finish here between these two teams. But while we have a moment, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Well, first, North Bay still holding a 4-0 lead. Actually, Brampton just, literally in this moment.
Just as you're
scored a goal.
updating.
I reloaded it right now and they scored. So it's 4-1 for North Bay down at Brampton in the third period. After two, it's the Flint Firebirds up 2-1 on the Saginaw Spirit. Kitchener up 3-0 on Oshawa, who Barrie Colts will be. Oh, no, Oshawa just scored.
Wow, you're getting all the updates.
Oh my. Bigley O'Mani makes it 3-1. Jared Woolley with a short-handed marker in his first game with the Rangers. It is 4-0 for the Brantford Bulldogs, a 4-goal second, a 5-goal second for the Sarnia Skate, who are up 6-1 on the Erie Otters after they gave up 9 last night to Windsor.
Oh, man.
Niagara Sudbury tied at 2 after 2 periods there. Hao-Shi Wang with
He got his first as a member of the Ice Dogs.
Member of the Ice Dogs. And then Ottawa Sioux tied at 1. Ottawa's only got 8 shots here going into the third period. Jordan Chiron with the goal for the Sioux. And for Sault Ste. Marie, they kind of teased Carter George earlier today, but he's only there as the backup today. Landon Miller getting the start for the Sioux.
Yeah, and they are going to play the Niagara Ice Dogs, I believe, tomorrow night. So Carter George likely making his Sioux Greyhounds debut tomorrow on home ice. So we are about just over 6 minutes away from the start of the third period here in Guelph between the Storm and the Colts. And we'll open up the chat so we can have some conversations here before we get ready for the third period of play. And I see that Adam is asking, who is your favorite team that the Colts play against? And it's hard to say a favorite team that they play against. Although I grew up going to Kitchener Ranger games, so last weekend was special for me, being able to go down to the odds to call a game where I grew up watching. And I know you weren't able to make the trip. You were sick.
I was a little under the weather,
So
but
you missed out on the
butter tarts. I heard about the butter tarts and the scallop potatoes. And, yeah, that's a pretty cool question, though. I mean, I'm the same as you. I mean, like, there isn't like a scheme, I guess, that it'd be pretty interesting. I think it's a good environment down in Niagara. Sudbury's an adventure to go play there with the ladder and everything. And I like this Guelph arena. It's very loud, very big flows, and a pretty good crowd here tonight at the Sleeman Centre.
Well, this is the second barn we've been to that they've got a live band performing during the intermission. So at the Meridian Center in St. Catharines, they had the live band. Here in Guelph, they also have the live band. So it's quite the environment here at the Sleeman Centre. And it's also, too, like, it depends on where the rivalries are, because last year, every game between the Barrie Colts and the Oshawa Generals just had that extra level of intensity. So even season by season, I think it can change as to the teams that you'd like to see the Colts play against. And I think it's going to be intriguing being back in Oshawa on Sunday. You can catch the road broadcast here on the channel because it's the first trip back to the Tributes Community Center since the Colts lost the Eastern Conference Final to the Oshawa Generals. And you have to figure, guys like Keyshawn Aitchison, Cole Baudouin, they've got something to prove after what happened there after being swept by the Oshawa Generals in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Generals on that team anymore. From last season, a lot of them have moved on, either graduated or traded. So yeah, it's very cool that some guys like Baudouin and Aitchison or Van Horebeck was the netminder in the final game of that series. Unfortunately for the Barrie Colts losing to Oshawa. Another one that's going to be interesting, the Colts go back to Brantford later this month. Barrie Colts Bulldogs, they haven't played much this season, only one matchup so far, and it wasn't until the day after that the Brantford Bulldogs went out, started making their deals, acquiring Ben Danford, Zachary Sandu. So both those teams looking really different. And one thing I thought coming into this year is that, okay, Barrie Colts, it's going to be interesting what they do with the trade deadline, but a big telltale sign was going to be how you perform against the Brantford Bulldogs, because if you feel like you can beat them based off the games you played against them, you can buy. But then the schedule comes out, and they only have one game. So, yeah, they won, but it's like it's a one game. They can't really use that as an indicator. But, yeah, I mean, these Barrie Colts teams, they've played a lot of good teams this year. They've beaten a lot of good teams this year. So I think they're right in the fight with Brantford and Ottawa, and it's going to be a fun stretch run.
And that was an overtime victory against the Brantford Bulldogs back. Was that back in October?
October, yeah. It was,
that was a long time ago now.
I want to say the 29th.
You might be right.
Because Sarnia was the next day, and that was the Halloween game.
Maybe.
Sure.
That was back in October. So that means there's 3 meetings now. So 2 of those games will be back in Barrie. So if you're a Colts fan, those are the games that you will want to be at, is when the Colts are home to the Brantford Bulldogs. And then one trip back to the TD Civic Center as the Madhouse on Market is going to be buzzing. And it's going to be a big test for the Barrie Colts, because you want to measure well against those top-tier teams in the Eastern Conference. So 3 meetings left against Brantford. You've got 2 meetings left with Ottawa, 1 in Barrie, 1 at TD Place, and then only 1 meeting with the Peterborough Petes. And that's not until the end of the regular season. That's our last road broadcast. Is when the next time we see the Peterborough Petes.
There'll be some playoff broadcasts, but
There will be, but talking about the regular season.
yeah, of course. Peterborough's going to be an interesting team to watch out for, and not only looking in the Eastern opponents, but Barrie's done a lot of Western Conference games, but they haven't done one yet against the Flint Firebirds. So we're going to get a good look at them this month. They're in town next Thursday at the Sadlin Arena on Rogers TV, and then of course we go down to Flint at the end of the month for the Flint-Saginaw road trip.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating. So we haven't seen the Flint Firebirds in person as of yet, so we're going to see them both post-trade deadline after acquiring Kevin He and Jacob Battaglia, as that's a Flint Firebirds team that's looking to make noise here in this Western Conference, and that could be an opponent for the Guelph Storm in that first round, 'cause it's so tight right now at the top. Windsor and Flint, they seem to keep going back and forth for top spot, and then you've got Kitchener as well holding on to top spot in the Midwest Division. So still a lot up for grabs in this Western Conference. And everyone's asking, is Kayshawn Aitchison going to get the hat trick? I don't know if I want to predict that. I've gotten in trouble from saying things on the broadcast before.
No more predictions. Thomas West is a big prediction guy, but I like to stay away. I don't want anyone yelling at me that it's my fault for anything.
And if you want to know why, you can go back and watch the broadcast we did with the Erie Otters on the road.
That was that one.
We got called out quite a bit for saying things on the broadcast. So, Adam, those are questions I don't think we should be answering.
Yeah, the Erie broadcast is a memorable one for Mike Poirier and Joshua.
Tammy's laughing. She remembers.
Tammy remembers the events of Erie with Mike Poirier and Joshua McHiccups.
Hiccups. I still can't believe you got the hiccups on the broadcast, but that was the Erie broadcast, so that is still on the channel. So if you want to go back and reminisce.
Well, that's the fun thing, too, is that, after a radio broadcast, you can't just go back and watch, but any fun moments from the season, we can go back and we can kind of just have laughs about them.
Exactly. So the third period is underway here at the Sleeman Centre, and the Storm sending it down the ice quickly. It is still a power play here for the Barrie Colts for another 38 seconds as the Colts will move this one up through neutral zone. Here's Bodwin up to Salandra. Bodwin after it behind the net takes a hard hit there from Spada. Aitchison has it in the corner. Kayshawn Aitchison from the half boards down low. Bodwin side of the net puts it across. That goes off the skate of Ryland Singh. Storm get this one down the ice. 15 seconds left in the penalty here to Patrick Babin, as Harabik's going to put this one back. Picked up here by Cole Emerton. Emerton up ahead to Aitchison, who has it at center ice. Back to Bodwin. 3 seconds left in the man advantage. Bodwin carrying it in, takes the shot. Inside backhand. But a chance by Hemming. He puts that one wide of the net and comes just as the power play expires. What an opportunity there for the Barrie Colts to regain a 3-goal lead. Singh comes out from behind the net. We'll skate this one up for the Storm. Turns it over, gave it right to Gardner, and then Spada took it right back. Lysick has that one bounce off his skate. Hanser ahead for Crombie. Crombie behind the back pass out to center ice, picked up here by Top. Top's going to send this one around the boards. Hanser's after it. McFadden trying to get a stick on it. Here's Wysick. Yakko Wysick behind the net takes the hit. Colts will pick it up. Here's Zabeski. Mason Zabeski through the neutral zone. He's going to send this deep into the Guelph zone. Beauchesne back to play it here for Guelph. Behind the net, Zabeski on the forecheck, trying to get a stick on it. Top will send it down the ice, and that's going to be an icing call against the Guelph Storm.
Zabeski's had some issues with that neck guard tonight. It just keeps seeming to come off.
It looks like a cape. But it's been an entertaining game here so far in Guelph. Was the shots favoring the Storm right now, 27-22. As we'll get this face-off to the left of Ellsworth.
He's Superman.
Superman. You were thinking of that one for a bit, weren't you?
It just popped in my head. I was hoping you'd give me a chance to.
Superman. Oh, boy.
Gotta make sure you get this down.
Yes. We'll have to work on that one. Colts trying to get this one to the net. Storm get this one out and down the ice. That'll allow Guelph to make a line change. At center, Von Richter up to Gardner, takes the hit. Zabeski chasing after it. Picked up here by Serlin. Serlin puts that one off the boards. Gardner back up to Zabeski, takes a bump from Gallagher. And the Storm get it out. Hanser, though, he's going to put it right back into the Guelph zone. Getting a glove on it there was Ellsworth. Beauchesne behind his own net. They'll regroup here for the Storm. Beauchesne sends this one ahead. Here's Top. Top takes a bump there from McCormick. Storm with it, near side. Gallagher takes it off the boards. Gallagher down low to the net, takes the shot, blocked in front there by Aitchison. And the Colts get it to the line and out. Jaden Newton doesn't get it go too far as Babin puts it back into the Barrie zone. Aitchison across for Passmore. Desiderio receives the pass, reaches center ice, up to McCormick on the wing, takes the shot. Ellsworth the save. That goes in the air, and he'll casually catch that one as we get a bit of a scrum after the whistle. Haven't seen too much of this tonight, and those players will be quickly separated.
Well, when Newton and McCormick are on the ice, that's bound to happen. Those two love the physical side of the game, and they love getting into it at the net. Giving them some success over the last couple of weeks. They've been creating some great chances off of it.
Yeah, they've been rewarded for their ice time as McCormick, Newton, having a great season so far for the Barrie Colts. And then, of course, Nicholas Desiderio added to that line. He's also had a pretty good season for the Barrie Colts. Face off, won by Barrie. Eliason at the point, sends that one wide of the net. Puck bouncing off the end boards. After it is Schneid. Schneid dropping this one back to Salandra, takes it behind the Guelph net. Facing pressure there from Wysick. Salandra comes back to the blue line. Lost the handle of it. Puck will escape the zone. Eliason sends it back into the Guelph zone. Babin, first one on it here for the Storm. Takes this one around the board. Salandra can't keep it in. Puck bouncing at the blue line. Picked up here by Papanenko. Papanenko behind the Barrie net. Facing some pressure. Takes the shot. Stopped by Horebic. In front, Wysick. And another pad save by Horebic. Colts will pick this one up. Joe Salandra coming up from behind the net. Salandra at his own blue line. Drops it back to Emerton. Paul Emerton at center ice. He's going to dump this one in. That goes off the end boards. Colts right now making a line change. Rylan Singh comes out from behind his own net. Singh moves this one ahead, reaches center ice. He's going to dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. Horebic trying to slow that one down. Storm moving this one around. Getting a stick on it there was McKenzie. Snellgrove puts it behind the net. McKenzie, far side, takes the shot. That's going to go wide. At the point, Singh fires. That goes off the leg. A pass more and into the corner. Storm moved this one around. Singh sends this one across. Spada just kept that one in play. Puck's back behind the Barrie net. Storm moving this one around. Singh at the point. Takes the shot. Blocked there by Aitchison. Aitchison, though, he's going to get a penalty here for the hold as he was in a battle there with Hunter McKenzie. Aitchison doesn't agree with it, but the Guelph Storm, they're going to get their second power play of the hockey game.
Yeah, Aitchison there looked like he got the hand on McKenzie. Not a fan of the call there. Maybe thinks McKenzie sold it a bit too hard, but big power play here for Guelph early in the period. They already have a power play goal tonight. Another one here could make it a one-goal game.
Yeah, the Guelph Storm right now 1-for-1 on the man advantage, although the Barrie Colts, they did score short-handed on that power play to start the hockey game. That was Cole Bodwin who got the short-handed marker. Bodwin out there right now to take the face-off to the right of Ben Horebic. Face-off won by the Storm. They send this one back to the point. Here's Beauchesne. Sends this one ahead to Gallagher. Gallagher along the boards. In a battle with Lowe. Puck ends up behind the net. Meet him up. Facing pressure there from Von Richter. He'll peel back. Here's Gallagher along the far half boards. Trying to jump it off the boards. Blocked by Gardner, and he's going to get this one down the ice. Carter Lowe after the loose puck. Takes the shots, and that ends up into the netting and out of play as the power play now down to 1:33.
Following up on kind of what we finished off on in the intermission, talking about the Guelph Storm and who they could play in the playoffs. And no, it may not just simply come down to wanting to be like the 5 or the 6 seed because of how tight I think those top 4 teams from the West are all really good. So for Guelph, it may just come down to who they feel they match up best against with. They may prefer to be the 7th seed over the 5 seed, depending on the matchup they could get.
Well, the Guelph Storm, they've played really well against the Kitchener Rangers this season. Mind you, that's a Rangers team that's added quite a bit at the trade deadline, so that's going to be a new-look team, but still, the Highway 7 rivalry is something else. And you can get it in the playoff time. I'm sure fans for either side will take it. as the power play continues here for the Storm. They have it down low, as that's going to be sent back to the point. Singh to Hapanenko. Hapanenko back to Singh. One-timer. Hrebeck got a piece of it. Puck goes to the corner. Eliasson takes Hapanenko into the boards. At the point, Singh can't get to it, and that's going to sail back into the Guelph zone. 56 seconds left in the penalty to Kayshawn Aitchison. Singh sends this one forward. Lysick trying to go ahead there, is getting a stick on it. Is Shabinsky. Shabinsky back to Hapanenko. Hapanenko off the boards. He's back to the point. McFadden. McFadden fans on the pass attempt, taken away there by Gardner, and he's going to put this one down the ice. Power play now down to just 33 seconds for Guelph. Carrying this one forward through the neutral zone. Here's Hapanenko. Passing this one across. There's the shot. Miedema! What a glove save there from Hrebeck as he flashes the leather.
Nice look there for Miedema, kind of similar to the chance Shabinsky had on that power play at the start of the game where he was able to score. Puck dumped across to him. Hemming not able to get there in time, and he has a free shot on Hrebeck, who makes a nice save.
Yeah, the power play now down to 24 seconds here for the Guelph Storm. Barrie doing a good job right now, shutting things down defensively. As Paul Baudouin set to take the draw here to the right of Hrebeck. Colts get it off the face-off as Hanser will send this one down the length of the ice. Colts right now keeping things simple on this penalty kill as Ellsworth will leave it there for his teammate. Coming up with it for Guelph, that's Beauchesne. Beauchesne dropping it back to Gallagher. Gallagher towards the net, deflected wide. Hopkins got a stick on it, side of the net. Aitchison about to come out of the penalty box. Hanser sends it up to Baudouin. The power play has ended. Baudouin skates this one in himself. Gives that one up to Hemming. Takes the shot. That's blocked. Puck goes to the corner. Storm with possession. Hopkins, backhand pass up to Miedema. He can't control it. Puck just bouncing between the blue lines. Emerton back to Eliasson. Eliasson settles things down a bit. Gave that one up. Good work there by Gallagher. Gallagher, though, had his pocket picked by Emil Hemming. Hemming then loses it to Gallagher. Looked like that puck may have been stuck. Hemming. We'll just send this one down the ice. It's going to roll on net, so no icing. Ellsworth decided to cover it up, though, so we'll get the face-off. 12:57 remaining in this third period. Time starting to become a factor here for this Guelph Storm team.
No, this first part of the third period went by pretty quickly there. Ellsworth looked like he may have wanted to play it, but they tried to drop it behind the net. Officials whistled it down.
Well, it's been an entertaining game so far here tonight. 30-23 now, the shots in favor of the Guelph Storm. As really, it's been back and forth ever since the Guelph Storm scored those two quick goals. The momentum of this game has really shifted, and both teams just getting their chances, but goaltending has been key here.
Yeah, Guelph had a couple opportunities. Even when the Colts were scoring, it still felt like they had a bit of pace in this game, but they just weren't able to find the back of the net. They get a couple good chances and a bit of a bounce on the third goal that really set them up to get them back in this game. And now all it takes is two more, and you got 12:57 to go. And, you said time becoming a factor, but there's still a lot of time for two goals.
Faceoff's going to come to the left of Ellsworth. Gardner is going to take the draw here for the Barrie Colts up against Snellgrove. Faceoff won by the Storm. Top picks it up behind his own net. Crombie is putting on pressure there. Gallagher gets it down the ice. It went off Aitchison, so no icing. Passmore back to pick it up here for the Colts. Drops it back for Gardner. Brad Gardner skating this one forward. Drops it to Passmore. Up ahead, Zabeski can't get a stick on it. That got by him. So that's going to be an icing call now against the Colts. So they'll bring this one back.
Well, it's Rogers TV night here at the Sleeman Centre. Don't know if any of the volunteers back in Barrie happen to be watching the broadcast, but if they are, shout out to all of them for all the work they do. I got my start here at Rogers. Well, not here, but
Not in Guelph.
Not in Guelph, but at Rogers. Not here on the broadcast either, but on Rogers TV, I got my start by being a volunteer and a co-op, and definitely suggest it if you're interested in working in sport media in any fashion, a camera person or doing what we do. Definitely sign up at your local Rogers TV and become a volunteer. It's a great environment.
Yeah, my son even got a chance to do camera work. Shout out to Ross.
Your son wants to replace all of us.
Apparently. And we're all a little scared of his talents.
He threw out some facts at the first game of the year, and Gene and I got scared.
You got scared. I live with him. But no, Ross doing a great job, and you can volunteer too. Just contact Rogers TV in Simcoe County, as that's going to go wide of the net. That was Sebeski who fired it. We're now at the 8-minute mark of this third period. Storm send it deep. McKenzie's going to go off for a change. Parker Von Richter picks it up behind his own net. Shabinsky there putting on some pressure. Von Richter's pass doesn't connect, as Suarez will skate this one in for the Storm. Towards the net, Horebic got a piece of it. Schneid can't hold on to that. Storm get it again. Wysick to Babin. Babin on the near side, drops it back. Storm with it. That's Suarez back to the line. Babin takes the shot, and Horebic able to make the glove save as, Babin getting that lane.
Yeah, good look for Babin. He's had some looks today, and another one of those guys coming over from the Brantford Bulldogs this season. Him and Lane Gallagher, the second and fourth round draft picks at Brantford back in 2024, and then Aiden O'Donnell, the first round pick from that year, shipped out to Guelph. So Brantford sending out a lot of players and draft picks. They only have one second rounder in the next 4 years, and outside of that, no other draft picks in the first 4 rounds outside of their first rounders.
Yeah, and that second round pick was just a draft pick trade with the Kingston Frontenacs.
I think that a lot of people were very scared of what they were going to do with that second round pick.
They're going to add another piece. But here comes the Guelph Storm. Miyako Wysick in front. Horebic got a paddle on it. Suarez gets it in the corner. Wysick behind the Barrie net. Sets up here for the Storm. Goes back to the blue line. Here's Beauchesne on the near side. Takes the shot. Horebic looked like he got a piece of it, but Wysick was parked in front. Miyako Wysick back to the line, but that's going to escape the zone as Salandra loses his stick. It went flying in the air. The referee's saying play on. Suarez gets it here inside the blue line off the bench. That's top. Takes the shot. Blocked by Hanser. Frassard keeping this one down low for the Storm. Von Richter comes up with it. Gives it there to Hanser. Up ahead at Schneid. Schneid up the middle. Desiderio dumps this one in. Ellsworth trying to play it. McCormick gets to it first for the Colts. He's dumped as top with the hit. That puck's going to escape the zone. Eliasson over to Emerson. Emerson's going to send this one deep around the boards it goes. Ellsworth slows it down behind the net. He'll play it around. McCormick was there. McCormick in a battle with Top. Those two have been going back and forth. Puck goes to the far side. Meet him up. Over to Gallagher. Gallagher will leave it there for Serlin. Back to Gallagher. He'll skate this one in. Gallagher trying to pass it to Top, but it's taken away. And now the Colts come back the other way. It's Jaden Newton. He'll skate this one in. Newton with the shot. Scores! Jaden Newton picks off the corner. What a shot! And it's now 6-3 for the Barrie Colts.
Well, a great play there by Jaden Newton, and this fourth line again doing damage for the Barrie Colts. They had a decision to make. He could have slowed things down, waited for the trailer and Cole Emerton to get into the zone, but Newton decides he's going to take it up the wing, bring it in, and right as Spada tried to go after him, he fires the shot glove side on Ellsworth. A nice play by Jaden Newton, who personally I thought Jaden Newton was one of, if not the most impressive player for the Barrie Colts during the World Juniors.
He's just a Swiss Army knife for this Barrie Colts team, and he's been picking up momentum now. 4 goals on the season as Jaden Newton getting the job done here, making it a 6-3 hockey game. Here's Cole Bodwin at center ice, backhand pass. Hemming trying to knock it out of the air. Singh back to play it for the Storm. Up to Wysick. Wysick in a battle there with Wilmot. Guelph will get it out to center. Putting on the pressure is McFadden. McFadden to the net. Nice move. Takes the shot. Misses the goal. Puck goes to the corner. There's Singh. He's tied up by Aitchison. And we're going to get another penalty here. I think it's going against the Colts. It's going to be for a slash. And it looks as though it's Emil Hemming who's going off.
Well, he saw Spada down on the ground there, but McCormick giving it to him right now. Not sure if Hemming maybe gave him a tap with a stick or something on the way into the zone. Well, Storm will get another power play. It's one of the lesser things talked about in the OHL. It's new year now, which means the jersey swap. The Barrie Colts now wearing white on the road and their colored blues at home. And No, it's not really a focus any year, but this is a good year to think about it because that means Cole Baudouin is now the road captain and Keyshawn Aitchison is the home captain.
I was wondering where you were going on that, but yeah, that's a great point. So, yeah, the co-captains, one wears the white, one wears the blue. So
I'm sure Aitchison will be happy because it felt like there for a while, every road game we go to, the other team was wearing an alternate jersey that was, and the Barrie Colts were in white.
that's true. Or you go against, the Kingston Frontenacs who still have just white jerseys. So the puck goes down the ice. It's power play here for the Guelph Storm. They're already 1 for 2. As Carter Lowe is dumped in the corner, taking time off this Guelph power play. Serlin skates it ahead. That's poked off his stick. Clearing attempt goes off Singh. Second one by Lowe goes down the length of the ice. Ellsworth leaving it there for Ryland Singh. Singh will skate it up, gets to his own blue line, reaches center. Singh still with it. Near side now for Gallagher. He's going to send that one around the boards. Far side, Miedema. Zabeski trying to get a stick on it there, and Newton gets the job done and sends it down the length of the ice. 1:15 left in the power play here for Guelph. Colts right now up by 3 as we're past the midway point of the third period. Jaakko Wysick skates this one in for the Storm. Wysick gets it down low for Guelph. Backhand pass, finds Beauchesne. Quinn Beauchesne. Over to the far side, there's a quick release, but blocked by Salandra, and the Colts will get it out. Getting that shot a chance was Shabinski. Long pass doesn't connect, and that's going to be an icing call against Guelph, who are on the power play. So right now, the Guelph Storm just look to be a little out of sync.
Not what you want to do there. One of my favorite quotes I've ever heard was from our producer in Barrie, Josh Kotha, 2 years ago in the playoffs. He just yelled out, "How in the world do you ice it on a power play?"
Leave it to Josh Kotfa. But yeah, that's icing against the Storm, so they can't change their power play unit. 40 seconds remaining on this man advantage as Shabinski will skate it out from behind the net. Ilya Shabinski reaching center ice. He'll skate this one in. Von Richter gets a stick in there, loses his twig, but Shabinski able to get that shot to go, and Ben Hrebeck, he's able to hold on.
Nice work by Shabinski there, working into the zone, getting around Von Richter there to create that opportunity.
Yeah, just 28 seconds left in the penalty to Emil Hemming. As a big faceoff now coming to the right of Ben Hrebeck. Brad Gardner is going to take the draw here for the Barrie Colts up against Will McFadden. So wait for them to drop the puck. Face-off won by the Storm. Beauchesne has it at the blue line. Beauchesne ahead to Shabinski. Shabinski to the net. Wysick in front, but his stick was tied up there by Hanser. Colts, though, can't get it out. Kept in by Beauchesne. Shabinski gets it again. In front, but that pass is deflected, and that's going to go back into the Guelph zone. 10 seconds left in the penalty to Hemming. Hemming ready to come out of the box. Quinn Beauchesne through the neutral zone goes to Hepanenko, but that pass, that's going to put him offside, so we'll get a whistle now with 4 seconds remaining in the power play.
Good work by the Colts here on the penalty kill now. Unless they allow a quick goal here, looking like it'll be 2 for 3 plus a shorthanded goal for.
Yeah, the penalty kill has been much improved, especially from what we saw in the first half of the regular season, where that penalty kill was often ranked 19th or 20th.
Well, special teams, such an important factor in hockey, and with Colts so highly ranked in the power play and penalty kill right now, I'm sure they got one of the best combined percentages for special teams.
So there's a broken stick on the play. That's Snellgrove as the Colts skip that one down the ice. The power play has expired. Ellsworth turns it over to Baudouin, but tried the quick pass, but that puck rolled on him. Colts, though, keep it in. The Barrie player goes down. Play continues. Hemming trying to send this back to the point. Storm will get this one down the ice. Emerton back to play it here for the Colts. Takes it back behind his own net. Under 7 minutes left to go in this hockey game. Near side, that's Keyshawn Aitchison. Up the wing, Wilmot took a high hit. That was Top who delivered the check. Loose puck on the far side. Snellgrove gets it out for the Storm. Snellgrove skates this one out down the ice. Off the end boards, Hrebeck will keep it there behind the net to Aitchison. Emil Hemming skates this one forward for the Colts in the neutral zone. Beaudoin back to Hemming. Cross trying to go to Wilmot, but McFadden got a stick in the way. Wilmot comes up with it. Hands over the shot from the point. Deflected wide. Wilmot picks it up on the far side. Takes the shot. That reaches the goaltender. Loose puck. Another chance. Stopped there by Ellsworth. Storm put it off the glass. Blocked there by Hanser. Justin Hanser will keep that one in. And the Storm get it out. That's going to go down the length of the ice. And it's another icing call against the Storm, as they seem to be on their heels right now.
Colts doing a good job right now. Shots on goal, 32-25 for Guelph. Also, they've done a good job this period, despite they're being outshot by a bit, but it hasn't really felt like that because Colts got a couple good looks, and they've done a good job keeping Guelph to the outside.
So we'll get this face-off now to the left of Colin Ellsworth. Gardner is going to take the draw up against Parker Snellgrove. So we got some last-second instructions as we get ready for the face-off. One by the Colts. There's a shot. Zabeski blocked there by Frassard. Bromby trying to put that one in front. Top was in the way, and the Storm get it out. McFadden, he'll dump that one in. He's going to go off for a change. Puck ends up behind the Colts net. Gabriel Eliason up ahead. Picked up there by Gardner. He's going to peel back. Eliason at his own blue line. Skates it back into his own zone. Eliason off the boards. Reaching for it was Gardner. Taken away by the Storm. They get it out. Here's Jaakko Wysick. Sends this one across. Miedema. He'll peel back to the line. Beauchesne follows it up into the slot. Hopkins tips it there to Wysick, but couldn't get a stick on it. Wysick in a battle there with Eliason. Puck taken away by Emerton. He'll send this one down the ice. Beauchesne back to pick it up for the Storm. Over to Babin. Babin sends this one ahead. Miedema enters the zone. That pass off Zabeski. Miedema gets it again. Gardner passing this one back to Zabeski. Mason Zabeski flips this one forward down the ice. Crombie thought about going after it. Icing is waved off. They're saying that Babin could have played it. It's a break here for the Colts. They can make a line change. Babin being chased there by Desiderio. That's sent deep into the Colts zone. Aitchison there to play it. Keeps it away from Miedema. Up ahead to Newton. Here is Nicholas Desiderio. Through center. He'll dump it in. McCormick gives chase. McCormick in a battle there with Spada. Spada falls on top of McCormick. Desiderio with it. Back to the line. Pass more. Aitchison near side. Aitchison already 2 goals. Takes the shot. And Ellsworth able to make the save, as he'll hold on with 4:33 remaining in this third period as the Barrie Colts are up 6-3.
Oh, good look there by Tayshaun Aitchison. It's going to be interesting to see how Dylan Smoskowitz runs his defense out over the next little while with the addition of Parker Von Richter. Tonight, Cole Emerton, Gabriel Eliason are listed as the third pairing, but that's not really a third pairing. I mean, obviously, Tayshaun Aitchison is going to lead this team in time on ice among defensemen, but from there, I think you got 2 interchangeable defensive pairings that are kind of 2A and 2B, and then of course, Teague Vader and Ethan Armstrong. I thought they did a really good job over the World Junior break as that third pairing. So I think those 2 guys, you haven't heard the last of them this season. They're still definitely going to get some playing time. And it'll be interesting to see whether Dylan Smoskowitz thinks, okay, these are my 6 right now. And then maybe Vader or Armstrong get a game every once in a while, or they're just injury replacements. Or if he sees Vader and Armstrong still as guys that are coming in the lineup game in and came out. Remember, early in the season, when the Barrie Colts had 7 defensemen going, it seemed like Justin Hanser, Teague Vader, and Ethan Armstrong would split the 5 and 6 defenseman role.
Well, it's depth that is going to be big here for the Barrie Colts in this run to the 2026 playoffs. As the faceoff won by the Storm, they have it deep in their own zone, trying to get this one out to center ice. Upanenko is there trying to get a stick on it, taken away by McCormick. He'll send this one deep into the corner. Desiderio picks it up, passes it back. McCormick couldn't get a stick on it. Storm will move this one ahead. Upanenko trying to get around Passmore. Passmore will take him down. Play continues. Puck's behind the net. Suarez takes the shot. That's blocked by Schneid. Passmore doesn't have his stick. He is leveled as Upanenko caught him as he was trying to play the puck with his skate. Singh loses at the blue line, ties up Desiderio. Maybe prevented a breakaway there for the Barrie Colts. Puck ends up deep in the Barrie zone once more. Suarez sends this one back to the line. Blocked there by Desiderio. Kept in by Singh. Here's Wysick. Jaco Wysick takes the shot, kicked aside there by Horebic, and McCormick gets it out for the Colts, out to center. He's tied up. The Colts want a penalty, none coming. Looked like McCormick may have been held up there. Puck goes deep into the Guelph zone. Singh gave that one away right to Carter Lowe. He'll send that one to the far side. Spada comes up with it. That pass blocked by Salandra. Schneid trying to pass that one in front. Singh sends it around the board. Shabinsky falls. Looked like he may have caught a rut in the ice. Storm get it out to center. Hanser puts that one off the linesman. That stung. Colts trying to recover. Puck just bouncing now between the blue lines at center ice. Spada up the wing. That pass picked off by Hanser. Up to Salandra. Delayed offside here against the Colts. Beauchene has it behind his own net. Jaden Newton, I don't think, realized there was an offside, but they're going to blow the whistle, and this faceoff's coming back.
Well, looking out of town, looks like North Bay and Brantford are both going to win. The Ottawa 67s have lost to the Sioux Greyhounds, and the Niagara Ice Dogs do have a 1-goal lead right now on Sudbury in the last minute of the third. So Barrie's lead in the division going to remain at 10 over both the Battalion and the Ice Dogs, and then they'll be 7 points back of both Brantford and Ottawa if they can hold on to this game.
So that's now a 3-game losing streak for the Ottawa 67s, I do believe.
A team that was, many believe were overperforming in the first half of the season. Will be interesting to see if they can keep the pace up that they had in 2025.
Here's Crombie to the net. Puck rolled on him in front. Gardner couldn't get a stick on it. Crombie gets it again. He'll hit the brakes. Calvin Crombie dropping this one back to Gardner. In front of Crombie, but that puck bounced off his stick. Eliason at the point. Sends it down low to Crombie. He overskates it. Babin will send this one around. McFadden on the far side gets this one out to center. Shabinsky after it. Eliason with that long reach takes it away. We're down to 2 minutes remaining in this third period. Crombie sends this one deep. Babin back to play it for Guelph. Gardner picks up the loose puck inside the Storm zone. Over to Hanser. Hanser sets up Passmore, winds up. His shot blocked as Babin got in the way of that. Now Wysick will skate it out. Jaco Wysick through the neutral zone, went in the skates of the linesman. Storm, though, still with possession. Frossard up the middle. Snellgrove skates this one back into his own zone. Down to a minute and a half left in this game. Hapanenko with it. He'll dump it in. Puck goes to the corner. Hanser trying to get a stick on it there. The Storm have it along the boards. Right now, Ellsworth still in the net for the Storm. I know they're down by 3, but we'll keep an eye on him as Schneid skates this one in. Stopped there by Top. Puck goes to the corner. Frossard's there for the Storm. We're approaching the final minute. Salandra in a battle. The Storm player losing his helmet. That's Top. He's trying to put his bucket back on. Schneid sends it back to Von Richter off the crossbar. Parker Von Richter strikes iron as the Storm will clear it down the ice. Spada leans into Von Richter, knocking him down. Eliason comes up with it. He'll take it behind his own net. 45 seconds left in the hockey game. Salandra will send this one down. The puck's rolling. Won't be icing. Spada has to play it here for the Storm. Spada from that far corner. Time running out here on the Guelph Storm. Ryland Singh in front of his own net. Looks at his options. Reaches center ice. Up ahead for Miedema. Miedema trying to go there to Gallagher. Gallagher, hands are losing his glove. Puck rolls in front. Newton will take that one away and sends it out. Puck goes back into the Barrie zone. 12 seconds remaining. Hands are behind his own net. Chased out there by Leo Serlin. Drops it back. 5 seconds. And that will do it as the Barrie Colts, after the trade deadline, will win big on the road against the Guelph Storm as it's a 6-3 final here at the Sleeman Centre.
Well, great effort from the Barrie Colts tonight, and it started in the first period with 3 goals from the 2 players returning from Canada. Cole Bodwing with the first one, and then Kayshawn Aitchison, of course, with back-to-back goals. Wasn't able to get that hat trick. That is not our fault. So in the end,
you would add that.
I just want to make sure that we are not blamed in any form for anything that happened on the ice tonight. And yeah, but a great win for the Barrie Colts. The shots were 33-26 for the Guelph Storm. Solid night for Ben Horebic. I'm sure we'll see him again on Sunday against Oshawa. Urban Jaswal probably getting the start tomorrow at the Sadlin Arena. And for Barrie, like I mentioned, keeping it at a 10-point gap right now in the Central Division. Just keep banking those points, and maybe the earlier the better to celebrate that Central Division title. I mean, obviously nothing over yet, but if you keep playing like this and you can lock down that title earlier and earlier in the season, then that gives more chance to rest guys before the playoffs and gives more opportunities to guys like Teague Vader and Ethan Armstrong.
And for the Barrie Colts, if you're a fan of the team, you've got to be pretty excited with what you're seeing on the ice. All three players back from the World Juniors, they contributed on the score sheet. And then the new players, Wilmot scoring his first as a Barrie Colt. We saw some great plays by both Mason Zabeski and Parker Von Richter. As this is going to be an exciting bunch. And Dylan Smoskowitz mentioned it. The Colts went out at the trade deadline, got everybody that they wanted, similar to what happened back in their run in 2010.
Yeah, it's always a good sign when you have 3 targets and you get all 3 of them, obviously. And it looks like all the additions already paying off. Zabeski, Von Richter looked great. And then, of course, Ben Wilmot getting his first career goal with the Barrie Colts. Von Richter had a shot off the post. Zabeski had a couple of great opportunities as well. Zabeski did a great job getting to the net a ton, playing physical, and yeah, I think all 3 of the additions made a great first impression.
And I think for Wilmot, he probably could have scored at least 2 goals in that game.
He was great.
Because he had the one that went off the post and whatnot. So Wilmot, a great addition as we'll get ready now for the 3 stars of the game presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm. Your 3 stars, 3rd star is Will McFadden, a goal and an assist from the Guelph Storm. 2nd star, Cole Bodwin, a goal and 2 assists. And really no surprise, Kayshawn Aitchison, your first star of the game. 2 goals here tonight. And those 2 goals coming in the first period. And I know in the chat, a lot of people are hoping to see that hat trick, but not tonight.
Not tonight. Shout out to Tammy for getting the first 2 stars of the game correct. Aitchison 1, Bodwin 2. She had it down to the number there with those guys. And, you know, maybe if we were in Barrie, one of the new guys would have gotten the 3 stars, but I'm sure Guelph wanted to give one of their own guys a star for a good performance tonight. And yeah, for Kayshawn Aitchison, another great performance tonight, and didn't look like he skipped a beat tonight. He came out and scores 2 goals right off the bat. A great performance for him and Cole Bodwin as well.
So we'll see if they can continue this momentum going into tomorrow night's game back in Barrie, taking on the Brampton Steelheads. It's going to probably be an emotional night for both Von Richter and Zabeski playing your former team. Sam Black, the former Barrie Colt. So it's going to have that interesting dynamic, but still, it's back-to-back games. Then you have Oshawa Sunday night. So it's 3 quick games here, but I think this is probably a good measuring stick weekend as you're playing teams that are lower in the overall standings, but it's a great way for this team to come together, find that chemistry, and then make that push as you get ready for this race for the playoffs.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's a great opportunity for the Barrie Colts here. I mean, you still got to play the games, and no team is going to be an easy win for you. Looking at the Oshawa Generals, the record not good, but they've been competitive in a lot of their games. Matthew Humphreys has about a .930 save percentage through 5 starts. He's 0-5.
But he still has the numbers.
He's got like numbers that would win you a Vezina in the NHL, and he's 0-5. That's how that kind of sums up the goal scoring right now for the Oshawa Generals. So that's a team you got to take advantage of. You got to use your stars to get some goals on them, but they're going to play you hard. And you know, going back to last season, that rivalry kind of forming between these 2 teams. 2 years ago, the Barrie Colts were near the bottom. The Oshawa Generals were the team that beat in the East, and the Barrie Colts came into the postseason. And they kind of said, "Hey, we can compete with you guys." Took that series to 6, and of course, Brampton tomorrow. Steelheads have beat the Colts this season, kept it close with them at the CAA Center as well, so it should be another good battle between the Colts and Brampton.
So if you're not able to attend the game in person tomorrow at the Sadlin Arena, Josh and I and Gene Pereira will be doing the broadcast on Rogers TV. That's a 7:30 puck drop. And then Sunday's game, we'll have the radio broadcast here on the channel. Again, it's a 6 o'clock start, which is different in Oshawa. It's their traditional time. Exactly. So we'll get the live stream underway at 5:45. So make sure you click click subscribe so you're notified when the broadcast gets underway as we get set for our first trip to Oshawa this season. So that'll do it for Josh McCann. I'm Mike Poirier saying so long. It's a 6-3 final on the road for the Barrie Colts against the Guelph Storm.